How's that Zone treating you?
Fantastic, man. And guys, you can get these at any 7-Eleven. Zone, not 2-1. Made the mistake of that.
They're very close.
2-1s will give you the AIDS.
They
Don't
were
do that.
close. Anyway, welcome to Brackish Bandits.
Yep, Brackish Bandits podcast.
Episode 7.
Episode 7.
Shoo. I think.
Maybe.
I'm going to have to double check.
Nah, dude, it's definitely 7. It's got to be 7.
It's definitely 7-ish.
Maybe 6, whatever.
Um,
We'll just title it 7 regardless. We'll just tell them 6 got taken down is a little too radical.
Yeah, 6 was too radical.
That was crazy.
Actually, don't even remember now.
I'm sure it was
It's like a blur.
pedophiles, gays, and...
Well, it wouldn't be a Brackish Bandits podcast if we didn't start it out by talking about pedophiles. And let me tell you, these pedophiles, they're running wild out here.
Crazy. Driving around in windowless vans, giving kids candy.
Grapes, I heard.
Grapes.
They're now luring, because kids are much healthier these days. So they just write grape.
Well, they're fucking annoying, too, because they're, moms, or, I can't have that. I'm gluten-free.
Yeah.
You fucking just get in the goddamn van.
That would be.
Making my job
I'm actually
hard.
allergic to peanuts. Shut the fuck up. Just get in the bed. Yeah, man.
What a
it must
time.
be so much harder to abduct kids nowadays, dude. These guys are having to work harder. They really are. I mean, I know the internet has made it easier access, sure, but that was more our generation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were just fucking diving nose deep into the fucking
Chat rooms.
internet with no idea. Nobody had any clue, right?
You telling me there's an old man jerking his peen to this conversation right now? No way, dude.
Yeah.
That's
But I mean,
just crazy.
I just feel like kids are more like up to it now. Like
Oh, yeah.
they know the old tricks aren't gonna work.
Yeah.
You can't.
They
hey,
know
kid,
within,
I
like,
got candy in the van.
two-
Go, fuck off, old man.
2 to 3 minutes, like, this guy's trying to fuck
Yeah.
me. I'm not about this. Yeah. Or, well, some of them nowadays might be like, oh, I'm totally about this.
Well, and I mean, think about it, dude. Like, they have tools they can use, too. Like, dude, like, one of those kids can just hit the fucking Facebook Live. Like, you're on live, you fucking asshole. You know what I mean? Like, you're done. You know what I mean?
Canceled
you
forever.
can't do anything. Not even canceled, but you can't take that kid now.
Yeah.
It's on live. It's
Yeah.
done. It's a done deal.
It's been documented.
Yep. It's been documented. It's on the internet. It lives forever.
That was a good one.
Oh, man. I believe with Zero Sugar Monsters and now nicotine pouches,
Sponsor us.
we are unstoppable.
Absolutely.
We will see the golden age of America, and it will be fueled exclusively with nicotine and copious amounts of caffeine.
Have you been watching the Robert F. Kennedy I almost said
Confirmation.
Confirmation.
Yeah, I have. I love him. I love him even more now.
First of all, those fucking Congress people that were up there were just absolute cunts. The ones grilling him was crazy.
Yeah.
I've never heard more. Like, Shane Gillis said this on his fucking most recent podcast. It was the most accurate thing I've ever heard. It was just girl talk.
Yeah, it's girl
Oh,
brains.
but you said a year ago. But you, but oh no,
Literally,
you said it.
yeah. It was literally. He's just having arguments with like his girlfriend multiple times.
They ask him.
Well, remember that shit you did 5 years ago?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, all right, yeah.
They asked him questions that would take like 5 minutes to fucking answer, and they
Yeah.
go, nope, yes or no question, yes or no question. It's like, dude, that's
Yeah.
not how it works.
Oh my god, I saw the one. So there's like the squad or whatever they call them, right? The Ocasio-Cortez and the fucking
they're
Hassan
essentially
or whatever her
they're
name
like the
is.
brat pack of the fucking Congress, all the young Muslim,
So
pro-Muslim
like
people.
Cortez got basically told to sit the fuck down.
Yeah.
Right, by Kennedy. And then like I said, the Muslim one, I don't remember her name, but she started chiming in and she's like, "You respect the Congresswoman and her authority." And he's like, "You work for me. I'm a taxpayer right now.
Yeah.
You work for me. You don't talk to me like that. That's crazy." And like he just interrupted her because he basically was like, "I don't care. Like, if you want to, this whole thing," because they're basically getting on him about stuff to do with the border, which isn't even going to be his.
It has nothing to do with him.
But he basically was like, well, if they want to seek asylum, they have to go through the port of entry. That's all I'm going to say about that. Like, it's not my thing, but they broke the law. They have to go through a port of entry and to seek asylum properly. And she literally is like slamming the hammer because he's interrupting her. Order, like having a hissy fit. And I can't help but think to myself, like, was this a good idea? Like this full integration of male and female working together to run the government. When you see them conduct themselves like that at the highest level.
Well, here's the thing, dude. He's a lawyer. So like he's trying to
he ain't
have
fucking around.
He's trying to have like actual like would it be discourse, whatever, like an actual conversation.
Yeah, you can't.
And they are just like so fucking irrational.
And I'm not saying all women in general are irrational, but particularly those
dude, Elizabeth Warren, she was the same way.
These liberal women are just, they lose their fucking mind like the second somebody just slightly disagrees
with them. The men were
them.
just as bad.
I agree.
Fucking Bernie Sanders, dude. And he flat out told him, he's like, dude, you got the most money from the fucking pharmaceutical. Oh, yeah, 1.5. Yeah, after he said, no, I didn't get any, he coughs up and says, 1.5 out of the 100 million. It's like
200 million?
Yeah.
The balls to actually call that out, yeah.
Fuck you.
Nah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I just don't even understand what the fuck we're doing and how you can be a person that voted for any of those people and watch them just totally lose their shit over a guy who wants to get rid of his main objective. Again, he's not the one pushing the border shit, right? Sure, I'm sure he agrees to certain aspects, but that's not his thing. He doesn't give a fuck about abortion. He doesn't give a fuck about the border. He doesn't give a fuck about any of these like hot button issues, right? He wants to take the chemicals out of your food.
Yep.
He wants our kids to stop being poisoned with all these chemicals that they give kids within the first 10 days that they're born with all these vaccines and shots. And he wants to, nobody's saying he's going to completely take away the vaccines. He wants to understand what the fuck is in them. And he wants to test those things and see what they do to an undeveloped, no immune little baby, a 10-year-old baby. We want to understand what that's doing to these kids.
That's what it really blows my mind is that these people.
They're fighting it tooth and nail.
Well, they refuse to do further, investigation or what would you say, trials, I guess, of these vaccines to see why. All of this research was done in the fucking 70s, the 50s, 60s, 70s. Why? We have so many new methods. Why would we not? Why would we not review them and say, oh, now this is why 1 in 36 kids are developing, or 1 in 32 or 1 in 36 are developing autism.
Crazy low. Autism.
Like where it used to be 1 in 1,500.
And let's not pretend, because I've heard so many people defend that with like, well, we didn't have the same kind of cognitive testing. How many autistic kids did you have in your class, right? I'm assuming most people watching this are between the age of 25 and probably 35 to 45, right? How many autistic kids did you have in your class?
Well, except for Cincinnati Jim. He's the outlier.
Even better. Hey, Jim, how many autistic kids did you ever meet in your fucking life?
Those kids,
zero?
Those kids got
absolutely zero.
Those
and
kids
I don't mean the dumbass that would chew on rocks, but he's now working at the bank. I mean an actual autistic, like can't speak, didn't potty train till they were 10. Like you don't, there's outliers, but like that's the common thing for most of these kids. And like we're just doing this, and everybody who even stops to ask a question, bro, I got on that tip a while back. Like, maybe too much personal information for the pod, but I don't care. We've come to know our viewers and love them very much. My oldest son is autistic. Now he's high functioning. He'll be all right. You know what I mean? But when that happened, and I said to myself, I don't have any
family
and I don't know if it's necessarily a genetic thing, but I was like obsessed with understanding what happened. Like, where did that come from? Do you know what I mean? Like, did something happen during the gestation period? Like, I wanted to know, right? And so that's when I stumbled on this connection with the increase of vaccines. No one's saying it's one vaccine in particular, but when you go back and look at even just from the 80s, I believe it was 1983 or 1985, when they increased the schedule again, that's when the autism started hiking. So whatever difference we made in the 80s, it could just be the volume. It could just be the fact that we're doing almost double the amount.
Oh, yeah.
Like within the first couple years of their life, when their brains are like, that's the most development that your brain goes through, believe it or not. It's not when you're in school. That's when you're just getting training to sit the fuck down and shut up. You're actually learning way more between those ages. So your brain is in this huge, really fast development stage. And that is when the most can go wrong, when there is chemicals introduced what is our brain besides chemical impulses that go back and forth and tell the body what to do and what to think?
A lot
you know
of
what I mean?
those vaccines are created and have things like mercury, aluminum, things you're not supposed to have
these
in high
byproducts.
doses in your fucking body.
And a doctor, again, if you're a person who's having a kid, we know one in particular, right? If you're a person who's having a kid soon, your OBGYN, right? The guy that delivers the baby, ask him about the vaccines. See if he can give you like a printout or something of every single thing, the vaccine schedule, and every single ingredient that is in those. Just ask him. See the reaction that you're going to get. Now, some might be cool, because I remember we had, not for my son, because we didn't know to ask the questions yet. We thought everything was okay, right? But with my 2 daughters that were born after that, we spaced them way out, all the way up until they started school. We spaced out those original ones that they were supposed to get by the time they're like 2. We spaced them out. Why? What's the difference, right? You know what I mean? So, but the person that we had the same OBGYN. He was like this old school Polish dude. So he was cool, and he's like, if you want to space it out, that's fine. It's your kid. You do whatever the hell you want. You know what I mean? And we're like, cool. You know what I mean? But like the first,
they're gonna try to tell you.
I'm trying to think of all these names.
They're gonna try to tell you you're fucking idiots. Most of them,
Yes.
I guarantee, would be like, "Oh, you're anti-vax."
The first pediatrician we had for my 2 girls, I won't say her name, but she's pretty prominent in our area. You'll know her name for sure. You've heard of her.
She a Hispanic woman?
No, I don't know what the hell. She's white, but her last name is weird. It's like, I think it's also Eastern European, but just regular white lady. She actually almost argued with me and my wife about when we told her that we wanted to spread it out.
Which is crazy.
And no, you shouldn't do that. You should not do that. You should do exactly as the pediatrician like myself and the OBGYN suggest. They need to be on a good schedule. You don't want them getting any of these diseases like measles and mumps. And, again, you think you're a tough guy, but when you go in there and you basically have like this healthcare provider telling you that you're like essentially being a bad parent, you get that like, I'm glad I didn't fall for the peer pressure. I was like, well, we agreed to disagree because I'm not going to. So I guess I need to go to a new pediatrician, and we did. So, but yeah,
it's none of their fucking business.
You're gonna get that static a lot.
It's like these teachers nowadays. You
Stay
do
the
not
fuck
have,
out of my
you do
business.
not have any say in the character development and the moral development of my child. You have no. Teach them fucking math. Teach them how to fucking read and write. Don't teach them about fucking gays. Don't teach them about fucking trannies and how they have sex. They don't need to fucking know that. That has nothing to do with anything. Why do they need to learn about your political agenda? They don't. Did you ever know what your teachers were voting for in high school or fucking elementary school or middle school?
Bro, I had 2 lesbian teachers that were like banging each other, and I had no fucking
We
idea.
had no. Well, didn't take too long.
I found out when I was older.
Like 6th or 7th grade.
Yeah, but I mean, like as a little kid, that was never.
No.
Can you imagine now? Like, it would be like, I'm a lesbian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let all the kids know about it. And it's like,
and I eat her box every night, and that's why I have fish breath.
Mrs. T, why does your breath smell like that?
It's terrible, dude.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's a whole different vibe, whole different world. You got to navigate it, man. It was tricky with my first and I gotta say, during elementary school, maybe we missed the cutoff, but that didn't happen. It was middle school. I think 6th grade was the first time she brought home paper that asked permission to talk about the LGBTQIAWT.
But why at 12?
Sometimes why?
Why at 12? No one's fucking at 12.
I don't know.
You don't even know anything about that.
Even like general sex ed, I remember like our first sex ed class was like 5th grade, but it wasn't even. It was the boys and the girls were separated, so it was more or less like teaching boys about their body, like what we can expect going into puberty.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not even fair to call it sex ed, but it was more like, it was somewhat sexual in nature.
I'm still waiting on some of those puberty things to happen.
Late bloomer. Well, I remember there was a kid in our class who fucking they were talking about like masturbating, and like talking about masturbating to a group of 5th grade
Funniest
boys,
shit you've ever heard in your life.
there's not a fucking like serious face in the whole place besides this one kid who is always a tryhard, and they started talking about like STDs and like keeping your penis clean, and you know what I mean. And like,
I clean mine viciously every night.
Well, he
I
was
put
like,
lotion on it.
What if you masturbate with dirty hands, can you get an STD? And I just dying, dude. Me and the boys are in the back, like fucking dying. And we're like, this fucking nerd, dude. What are you jerking off with dirt? You fucking weirdo.
This guy's wiping his ass and stroking at the same time. What the fuck?
He's like, oh fuck, that could happen. He was freaking out.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Do I have AIDS?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll never forget that, man. You know what's crazy about life, too? I ended up buying acid from that kid in high school.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I mean, life hits you hard, folks. You got to take full advantage while you can.
He didn't touch the acid with his fucking hands, did he?
Oh, he was all over
Did you
it.
take dirty hand acid?
I don't even want to think about it anymore. Now that I think about it, that was like a rough trip. No, but it was funny because he was like such a goody two-shoes throughout like elementary school, obviously. And then like middle school, whatever, he was just a quiet kid. And then high school, he developed, he like found himself.
He went his own way, yeah.
Well, he was like, but he was like a hippie dude. He was like a head dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he tried to like grow his hair out and had like little mini dreads.
Oh, God.
And like always listened to ska bands, if you even know what that is. That was such a short-lived thing.
He probably like watched like a movie or a show, and like that was like a cool guy in there, and he was like, oh, I want to be like that.
That's my fucking... I did that. I developed my entire high school personality around Stifler from American Pie.
That's a terrible one.
I idolized Stifler, dude. I wanted to be just like fucking Stifler, dude. Fucking still to this day, when I see Sean William Scott, dude, I'm like, you're the fucking man.
That
dude.
is one of my favorite characters of all time.
Of all time.
He was so fucking funny.
So fucking funny. Ladies' man. Like, you know what I mean? He played football. I think he played football and lacrosse.
I don't think they played football.
They didn't play football, so they were lacrosse players.
Yeah.
All right.
Because they were in like Michigan. So
Yeah,
like
athletic, like jock type, cool with the cool kids, but like also self-deprecating, like all the bad shit that happened to him. He was able to like kind of let it. I mean, he got pissed on. He drank cum one time out of a beer. Like every time, you know? Yeah. Got his mom banged by the fucking nerdy weird kid. Like Stifler always ate shit at one point, I believe, and one of them had to eat the dog shit in the third one.
Probably.
I mean, poor guy just always...
I can't remember past the second one.
Yeah, first and second are definitely the best. Third, I tell you, the fourth comes back. Like, the fourth hits.
Which
it
one's
slaps.
the fourth? That was when they're
American
all older?
Reunion. Yeah,
that was a good one.
High school
I liked
reunion
it.
one.
I liked it, yeah.
It's solid, man. It's solid.
It is.
Fucking solid movies. But Stifler was like...
Dude,
you know?
Sean William Scott, man. I wish he was in more movies. Dude, another one that was golden of his was Role Models.
Yeah, really great.
I fucking love Role Models.
Oh, and
that show is great. Movie.
Rundown was great,
funny
too.
too.
That was like one of The Rock's first movies.
It was.
And they were great together.
It was like that and Walking Tall. They came out around the same time.
Yeah. He basically played the same guy.
Exact
like
same
in both.
guy.
Yeah.
Exact same guy. Quiet, but I'll fucking kill you.
Obviously, like a troubled past, but trying to make it right. You know what I mean? Like
that's why
he's literally the same character in both those movies.
I feel like he used to be such like a humble guy, or maybe he was just deceiving all of us. Because he had that one movie. I forget what it was. I think it was like the Mustangs or something, where he coached the inner city black football team that was made up of juvenile.
The Gridiron Gang.
It was the Gridiron Gang. Sorry.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But like,
it was a decent football movie.
But he always played like a really good guy, like you said, had like a troubled past or whatever. But
now
like,
he plays an actual douche.
Now he's just a douchebag.
Yeah.
In every fucking movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude, he's gotten to like the level of famous where you're now suspicious.
Everybody knows him.
Does this guy drink baby blood?
Could be.
And worship the devil.
I hope not.
You know what I mean? I hope not either. But you don't get into that top club.
So drinking a little bit of baby blood.
Let me interrupt this.
Yes, sir.
Okay? We've rolled for a little bit.
We have.
We do have somewhat of a
some
curated segment for you guys.
Yeah.
We've been talking about doing this for a while.
You might be able to see this little.
I'm sure, yeah. They're all in the shot. So we've been talking about doing this for a while. We want to run through some scenarios and specifics with you guys. We don't really have, unfortunately, as structured as we're trying to be, we don't really have a structure to
You know
this.
what? All we said is we're going to do this. And
Yeah.
that was pretty much it.
And we're going to do it.
Here's the thing, man. I like that. This is all
It's
natural.
organic.
I don't
Yeah.
want to do segments.
I don't like that either. We don't,
But we're
guys, we don't sit down and write a fucking script,
No.
obviously.
Yeah.
That would be... Talk for this for 2 minutes, and then switch to this for 3 minutes, then switch back for another 2 minutes.
Maybe we should
The
ask.
fires in L.A.
We should ask ChatGPT about maybe writing us a script that would get us the most amount of followers on YouTube.
I actually would be curious to see what it says. I've been fucking with Chat GPT, and it is fucking crazy. Like, not only just the image creator, but like writing an entire paper. How are you in school right now and not having Chat GPT do all your fucking assignments for you? Like, how is anybody getting an education right now, dude?
They have AI detection deals.
How?
I don't know.
Even if I took the time to just handwrite what it said, I wouldn't like copy and paste it, you know?
The last class that I did at EKU, I actually had ChatGPT write just my first, what do they call it, like a synopsis, just like a summary of your paper.
Yeah.
And because for whatever reason in a graduate program, that's like the first thing they want you to do is essentially tell them what you're going to do and what your paper's purpose is. So I had it write one. It was fucking tits. I went through and edited the shit out of it make it.
They didn't know, right?
No, but like I couldn't come. I'm always bad about doing like the conclusion or the fucking introduction to stuff, just because it's like I have the raw information, especially when it comes to research papers. It's very confusing, but they do have a detection. Like I got popped on that one for like 30% plagiarism, which like 20% is like kind of the cutoff. I emailed the professor immediately. I was like, dude, I don't know how. Like, this is a fucking research paper. Like, of course, like literally.
Yes, of course I'm pulling sources from shit.
He's like, I don't give a shit. He completely passed it, no
Cool.
problems.
So it's like an automated thing.
Yeah, sent it. It graded it within 5 minutes. They probably use AI to actually do it.
Well, there you
not
go.
graded it. Gave it a grade on the.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because how would a normal person know?
No, it would have to.
Like
be,
it'd have to be
it's a
AI that
detection
detects
program.
AI.
Yeah.
We are getting weird. We are
Anyways.
getting weird with all this fucking AI stuff.
We
guys.
can talk about that for
yeah,
fucking
we'll dig
hours.
into that fucking. But all right, so obviously me and Grant both brought our rifles, so we'll talk about that. I brought a shotgun just to kind of have some variety, and then obviously just like your average pistol, sidearm, handgun, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Everybody has their own nomenclature. But yeah, I guess our main goal was just like, there's a lot of people we talk to outside the pod that like are kind of on the fence about getting a rifle, or
They like support the Second Amendment, but they might not.
Right.
Own an
Like they
AR
don't know what
or-
to get, or they don't know if there's like budget friendly options and things like that. So I guess we were just going to go over like our main builds that we have.
Your main builds. I just got my one right now. I didn't really realize that I would have brought fucking everything, honestly.
No. Well, that's what I'm saying. We're just going like, that's your main squeeze. That's my main squeeze.
It is now.
That's my
baby.
main, bump in the night firearm that's closest to me. Shotgun is just and that's what I was going to say about the shotgun. I guess let me go ahead and start with that, because this is something that everybody will tell you is a good option to have.
Yeah.
It's versatile,
Absolutely.
right? You can hunt with it. You could shoot birds down
And it
out of the
doesn't
sky
have to
with
be.
it.
The semi-autos are a little bit more pricey unless you buy like a Turkish made. Like I want to say those Mossbergs, they're up to like $900. They used to be like $500, man. They used to be really worth it. Mossberg makes a fantastic shotgun.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be semi-auto. If all you can afford is a pump, buy yourself a $200, $300 pump.
Pump's not bad either.
Yep.
Pump's not bad either. I will say, though, if you're a person who plans on buying a shotgun and only having a shotgun for everything, spend the money, get a semi-auto.
Yeah, 100%.
If the shotgun is just like an extra after-the-fact thing to you, or simply just for fun to like hit clays and stuff like that, go for the pump, go for the fucking lever action.
And
'cause
also,
they're cool, whatever.
all of these have
But-
been checked. They're all completely empty. We went through them fucking twice.
Yeah. We actually should put that out there for
Yeah.
any hardo that watches
Yeah.
this.
Oh, you're
It's
fucking
like,
flagging.
oh my God, you're flagging the roof. All right, so I'll pull the bolt open. Hold on. So we can make sure it's nice and safe for everybody. But what I really was going to say just about a shotgun, it's more necessary now than I ever would have thought it ever would have been with drones.
Yeah.
Get a shotgun and get
Absolutely.
good with it. Get good with bird shots. Go out there and practice with clays and get good at hitting shit on the move. You know?
Absolutely.
Anticipate where it's going to be. Shoot where it's going to be, right? Like shoot in front of it. If it's heading to the left, shoot a little bit out in front. You know what I mean?
If it's zigzagging, shoot right down the middle.
If it's zigzagging, yeah, just go right down the middle. Cut it in half. One of your BBs is going to hit it. So I guess... I mean, I don't really know. Let's go super basic. I'm just going to explain it. So this is what's called a 12 gauge, okay? That is the size shell, the diameter of the barrel, the size shell that this takes, right? So if you see 12 gauge, 20 gauge, not really going to see much other gauges nowadays. I mean, there is 16 gauge, 10 gauge, you know what I mean?
410.
Yeah, 410, different types.
Which just throws the gauge out the window.
Yeah, that throws it out. I mean, Americans and our
We're
units
very
of
strange.
measurements, we do what the fuck we want, all right?
Yeah.
You're going to tell us what to do, Europe. But 12 gauge is the largest most people use. Again, and this is what's also confusing. The lower the number, the larger the diameter of the shell, all right? So, the larger the caliber, as we'll say, right?
Yep.
So 12 gauge is probably the most common for law enforcement, hunting.
It's the most necessary. I feel like it's
20
a
gauge, a
do-it-all.
lot of people use for bird hunting specifically and not much else. 12 gauge can also be used for bird hunting extremely efficiently and everything else. 12 gauge slug will bring down a fucking, I mean, if you gave me one choice of a weapon and a grizzly's running at me, I would take a semi-auto 12 gauge
slug.
with slugs
Yeah.
over probably
double-aught
most anything else. Yeah, even double-aught buck is going to
Would
put a
fuck a
fucking
bear.
hole.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I want something big. I want something with a lot of stopping power.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you find yourself out in the Northwest, make sure you've got a 12 gauge with slugs, because fuck that pepper spray bullshit.
Yeah.
If you've got a fucking mama grizzly charging at you because you walked past her cub, fuck that shit.
That pepper spray is just going to make you taste a
gonna
little
do
spicy.
That ain't gonna do shit, dude. Yeah, you're basically just marinating yourself, brother. Holy fuck, fuck that shit. But So I would say, like I said, most people use shotguns for hunting purposes and or sport purposes. When I say hitting skeets or clays, that's a sport where people launch clay discs into the air. So a lot of times multiple at a time, and you got to try to hit them all with using birdshot. Now, when I say birdshot, that's just a different type of shell, an upland game shell, whatever. I know there's a lot of different low brass, whatever people call it, right? So that just means the spread. So shotgun shells usually have a lot of BBs inside of them with a powder charge and what they call a wad to direct the BBs out of the shell, out of the barrel, and into your ass. So birdshot just spreads out really far. It makes a nice wide circle so you can hit that flying bird easier than trying to shoot it with one bullet, right?
What do you think about birdshot for self-defense?
I don't think it's a bad idea at all. If anything, really, I mean, if you really get down to it, I think it's probably what you would want to use in your
Inside
home.
the house, yeah.
Especially if you have kids or your family, because if you're not a good shot, anything else is going to penetrate through drywall like nothing.
Yeah.
So think about that.
Even birdshot.
Even birdshot will, but it's going to definitely get slowed way down versus
much lighter
any
load.
other type of projectile.
Much smaller, lighter BBs.
Yeah,
as well.
smaller, not as powerful as a load, much smaller BBs, more spread out. So it's not going to be 2 and 3 bunched up together, penetrating one hole rather than...
They also do some really cool shit with shells, man. I know some of them are illegal in Florida now.
Incendiary.
You can get fucking they call them dragon breath rounds. It essentially shoots a fucking flare. It'll light somebody on fire if you hit them.
Yeah. That will light stuff on fire, so we don't recommend using that in your home for self-defense, but I guess it's cool to...
John Wick did it.
Shoot. Yeah, I mean, well, that's John Wick, If you're as good as John Wick, you're not watching this video.
No,
you've
not.
clicked off.
Oh, which, by the way, probably another disclaimer. Neither one of us have any sort of military service or any combat experience at all. Just throwing that out there as well.
Just been around guns my whole life.
So if any of you guys who are really badass watch this and you're like, these two are fucking idiots, you're probably right.
We're going for just a beginner introduction to people who don't have any kind of familiarity with or very low familiarity with firearms.
Yeah.
Right? we're just above your basic training class. You know what I mean? But no, I've been around firearms my whole life, hunted a lot, used them a lot, for target practice training, and then, hunting, shooting at and killing animals, but never a man yet. That being said, back to this. So what he's saying about buckshot, and they have other ones, double-aught buck. They have all sorts of different sizes of the pellets and different spread patterns. Buckshot's going to be a lot more common for hunting. So that's going to be also BBs, but a lot of them are going to be larger, and they're going to have a much more powerful load behind it. And when I say load, I mean like the powder charge. So that's how fast it's going to send the bullet out of it. Or, you know what I mean? The projectiles out of the barrel. Bigger explosion, if you will, right? Yep. And those are going to stay much tighter together, like I said, and they're going to be bigger BBs. So they're going to cause a lot more damage to flesh or whatever the hell it hits, right? So you're going to use that for hunting purposes. Again, for self-defense purposes, great. It is going to blow a fucking hole through someone at a certain range. You're not going to probably hit. You're not going to be shooting buckshot at 100 yards. I mean, that's probably 50, where the ballistic coefficient is falling off.
Probably okay.
But yeah, like I said, close range kind of stuff with buckshot, you're fucking some shit up. You're definitely penetrating through car doors, you're fucking somebody up.
The shotguns are they don't get enough love. I feel like they are like the absolute kings of close range.
Yeah,
because there's like a medium point. I'd probably say 30 yards, where especially if you're loaded with buckshot,
that's where
you're getting a good enough spread to where if you just shoot in the general direction of whatever. Okay, I guess I shouldn't say a human specifically, but whatever your target is, you're going to fucking hit them, and they're not going to feel very good about it. It's going to fucking suck.
No.
They're going to have fucking pellets in them.
Again, I guess we could have done more research to sound a little tighter. I do believe the ballistic coefficient for most of your double-aught buck and stuff like that with the high brass, that's going to be within 100 yards or less.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Take that for what it's worth.
Absolutely.
Because I know some dude.
I would say 50 yards for regular buckshot. Double-aught buck goes a little bit further.
I tell you what, it's funny. If we get any comment on any video that we've ever made up to this point, it will be this one.
Yeah,
and it will be some farmer FUD.
Don't fuck around.
That's going to get in there and be like, you boys don't know what the hell you're talking.
That's fine, dude.
And you're right. And tell me what I'm wrong about for sure, man. But yeah, this particular model is the JM Pro. That stands for Jerry Mikulik. If you don't know who that is, go check him out. Jerry Mikulik. He is the world's fastest revolver shooter. Still holds the title. He also holds the title for the world's fastest consecutive, accurate, followed-up shots for a 50 BMG.
Yep.
So, and he's like an almost 80-year-old man. He's a fucking badass.
He's a legend.
But yeah, so this is his series. This is specifically tuned and made for 3-gun competitions, which I'll give you a very short description. A 3-gun competition is where you're going to bring a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol, and you're going to shoot all 3 consecutively, one after the other, on a course, and you're being timed, and you're also being dinged for your accuracy while using all 3 back to back. So it's pretty cool. Check out 3-gun competitions. Jerry Mikulik's the king of 3-gun. And this is the shotgun he likes to use. It's like the collab he did with Mossberg. It's semi-auto. It holds 8 in the tube, 1 in the chamber, 9 rounds of Fury. Great for self-defense. And like I said, get good with a shotgun, because you never know. I mean, again, if we're talking shit hits the fan scenarios, foreign invading. I mean, look at New Jersey. Look at all these states talking about weird drones. Now nobody fucking knows. It was the government. It wasn't the government. It was private people. It was private
aliens.
People. Right? All I know is shit hits the drone or shit hits the fan, and you hear buzzing of drones. They're not there to help you out. Okay, buddy? So get your
Amazon.
shotgun, get your bird loads loaded up, and get to shoot that fucker out of the sky. That being said, not really much more. Slugs, like we were talking about earlier. So those, instead of BBs, that's going to be like a solid, like what you'd think as a bullet. That's literally just a solid hunk of lead, and it's going to be sent with a very powerful charge. It's definitely not the fastest moving round, but it will absolutely put a hole in almost anything. I don't know about 1/4-inch thick steel and up, but definitely car door.
I'll tell you what,
front door.
if you fucking eat fucking slug to a fucking plate carrier, if it doesn't go through, you might fucking wish it did.
I mean, yeah, you're definitely going to break your ribs. You might have, I mean, really, you might have organ damage.
Yeah.
I mean, a slug is like insane. And I mean, again, to shoot a slug is insane recoil. It is not for beginners whatsoever. It is not for frail, weak bodied men, so don't try. It's for burly bastards like me and Grant.
Shotguns are scary and disorienting to shoot as well. So,
Yeah,
like, for a
very
new
loud.
person, they're very loud, and they kick like a fucking mule.
They do. So, yeah, definitely prepare yourself for that. But if you're a person, you know, we do come across people who are like, well, I don't need a rifle. I just need a shotgun, or I just need a pistol. So
That's fine.
This is a great option. Like he said, pump action, anything. I'm telling you right now, if you are a person who's thinking to yourself, I just want a shotgun, that's all I need, just spend the little bit of extra money. Get a semi-auto. Make sure you get a long tube. Don't try and fuck around with that four round shit. Get at least 6 to 8 rounds in there. You're gonna miss.
Fuck it, I go past that, dude. I'd get one of those 3 round or the 3-gun fucking
extenders.
tubes. I get the fucking extender.
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, yeah, I actually traded a cop straight up in Fort Myers for my 1911 for that, for my
Really?
Springfield 1911. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And he said the way he set this up, because he put that extended
Longer
tube in there, that he was going to run 3-gun with it, and he put the knurled whatever charging handle on there.
Oh, that's
I
not
guess that doesn't
that's not
come that
standard?
way. Yeah, I guess
Oh.
it comes with just a hook.
I like
But
that.
yeah, I like it a lot too. It's super easy to grab. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely my favorite shotgun I've ever owned. I've owned more shotguns than any other specific type of firearm.
Yeah.
Just since I was a kid, I've always had one for hunting or whatever, you know, or just target shooting. So, yeah. So that's it for the shotgun.
Fuck yeah.
Let's grab our rifles. You show and tell yours now.
I just got this BCM upper, and I put it on. This is an Aero Precision lower. I do not use now. So a lower is the lower half of the Armalite rifle. They're pretty much, when you disassemble them, they come in halves. So you have an upper half and a lower half. The lower half is the actual serialized part of the gun. You have to get that shipped through an FFA. I said that right?
Mm-hmm.
Not an FFL.
It's FFL.
It is FFL. Sorry,
Yeah, you're talking
FFA.
about for like a firearms dealer?
Yeah, trader. Yeah, an FFL. The uppers, man, you can just get them sent to your house. I used to rock just one lower, and I'd have multiple uppers for different scenarios. And then I kind of finally realized, like, yeah, I need to start stocking some lowers too, just so I can actually arm people, you know, family
That's a great
members
idea.
in case something does
Yeah.
happen.
There's a lot of stubborn people who just won't do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's like just go. I don't want them to have my information. Which another thing, if you live,
They've already got your information.
Well, that is one. But if you live in the state of Florida, I think all of them are required to keep your transaction for a year, and then after that, they're supposed to dispose of the information.
Yeah.
If you live in cocksucking Charlotte County, your piece of shit sheriff is going to try to obtain that information from the actual FFL dealers and keep it.
Now,
why would he need to know that?
he can. So as far as I know, a sales record can only be validated for, like you said, I think a year or two.
Yep, and they're supposed to
and then they're supposed to shred it and get rid of it. Again, that's his idea, was that if somebody was going to buy a gun with the intention to use it for a crime immediately, meaning like within the first year or two, that it would be easier for them to track down.
It's still
but
a bad
in the
idea.
state of Florida, it is actually illegal for anyone, a store, a sheriff's office, or government officials to keep a registry of firearms. So, again, when they hold on to basically the sales record of it, you could buy that gun and then sell it at the gun show tomorrow, and they have no idea where it is, and that's, I believe, the way it should be. I understand people get a little iffy, you know, about guns being no one knowing where they're at, but somebody commits a crime, you're going to figure it out. We're going to find it.
It's nobody's fucking business.
It's nobody's business what I own and how many of them I own and how much ammo I have to go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like
none of your fucking business.
Yeah. It's the Second Amendment. So it is the second most important thing that our founding fathers thought would preserve our
Yeah.
liberty and freedom.
The the kind of method I use for picking out my lowers, I just typically go with the cheapest, made out of 77.5 aluminum.
So you like aluminum lowers?
Isn't they're all aluminum? Are they not?
I thought some were steel. I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're mostly.
I'm
aluminum.
learning.
It's standard across the board. It's literally what all the companies use.
So it's all billet aluminum,
Yep.
all of it. Okay.
And a lot of the guys, a lot of the gun purists, I've been down that rabbit hole, man. They swear by, the better companies, the more expensive companies, I should say, being the superior ones. Oh, do you really trust Palmetto State to assemble lowers? Dude, I've had fucking 3 Palmetto State lowers. I've never had an issue. I've probably combined between all 3 of them. I've probably shot 5,000 or 6,000 rounds, which isn't that much. But I've never had an issue with any of them. Swap the triggers out, no problem. I have a Spikes Tactical lower right now on my Daniel Defense. It's the exact same fucking thing. I think the magwell is a little bit more flared, but there's no fucking difference, in my opinion.
I just noticed that magwell was flared a
This
pretty
is-
good amount. Yeah,
yeah.
it looks good. So I will say, too, to support your point, anyone you talk to, I'm confident enough now that we're talking about AR-style rifles, I am more than confident enough to tell you that the lower does not matter. Your handguard does not matter. Your stock does not matter. Again, those are comfort options, right? Your
So-
stock, your handguard, but the lower, again, I don't think that there's a point that you could reach with your lower besides it actually not being mil spec, meaning like its specifications are not the same as every rifle is made, so then it wouldn't fit things. But as far as it malfunctioning on you because it's a little bit cheaper and not going with, the $300 lower versus the $50 lower from Palmetto State Armory or something like that, a reputable, manufacturer. And the reason why I'll say that is because anything that's containing the explosion is what needs to be the high density metal, the corrosion resistant metals. You know what I mean? That's where you want to spend the money. So don't waste your money on the lower. It doesn't matter. It's essentially it's housing your trigger setup.
Trigger assembly.
Yeah, your trigger assembly, and it's holding your mag in there for you. That's really all it's doing.
I mean, fuck.
Again, you could even say your buffer tube itself is probably more important, which most people don't give a fuck about. It's probably more important.
Oh
than
yeah,
your lower.
than your lower. Yeah, I agree. But I mean, dude, another way to look at it too is like, for example, the Scar Heavy, the Scar 17S, right? That gun is like notorious for, the way it operates. I can't remember it's a piston driven system. It fucking destroys optics, throws them out of zero because there's just so much movement going on. That bolt's so big and heavy. They have a fucking polymer lower.
Yeah.
Polymer is not going to be as durable as aluminum. I've seen it in 1,000 different tests because I really thought it was a genius idea.
Yeah.
But it's just not as good.
Yeah, polymer is essentially just a really dense plastic.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I kind of this is more like a minimalist approach. I've had some like really tactical rifles, and I kind of got away from that because like, I don't know, man. Once you start getting, there's like a fine point when you have too much shit on your gun.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
And I really have grown to appreciate the more minimalist rifles. So this one's very simple, man. I got an old school Colt fucking buttstock that I really like. I put a nice little rubber bumper on it a while ago. It's very comfortable.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's not the latest and greatest.
This was
$300 buttstock.
This was like $35 on Brownells.
It's all about comfort. Really.
Yeah, I tied a fucking paracord around it so I could have a way to set up my sling.
Nice. I see that.
Yeah,
I was wondering what the paracord was for. I thought it was keeping the rubber piece.
Yeah,
on.
no. So when
kind of doubles actually.
Yeah,
right?
when I bought this, I was like, I don't really like it at the top here, so I was like, I want to put it down a little bit lower.
I would hate that too. It's always against the back of my chin.
That's my thing too about the
I don't
front
like that
sight
either.
post. I hate these. There's too much play in this gap that they have. I don't know if you guys can see that in this little buckle they give you for a sling.
I can try and zoom. It probably won't work in the editing.
Fucking it moves around on you like crazy, and it just pissed me off. So I always put them on my actual handguard. I have an M-Lock handguard, and I just snake it right in there, and it fits nice and snug.
Perfect.
This is like a shitty $10 sling that I bought on like Amazon years ago. Works just fine.
Yeah.
I like 2 point. Some guys like 1 point. just not really my style.
It's preference.
Yeah, just however you want the gun to kind of, hang on you. But yeah, man. I mean, really, really minimal. I'll probably put some sort of hand stop on this at some point. I'll probably get a light for it too. But right now, man, it's just a mid-length BCM M-lock handguard, like I said, which I'm going to say one thing about the thing with the handguards is I will say they are, to me, they're pretty important. You don't need to spend crazy bucks, man. There's some handguards out there like $500. Don't fucking do that. Buy like a, $100 max 150 handguard. Midwest Industries makes fantastic handguards. But I will say free flow is the way.
Yeah.
Drop-in handguards they look cool and like they're used in all the fucking movies. They fucking suck. They get really hot, even if they have that bullshit aluminum shielding them. They get really fucking hot. You can attach Picatinny to it, but it's a fucking pain in the ass. Just get a free float handguard. It helps with the fucking barrel or helps with your barrel movement as far as reducing it. If you're resting it on something or anything like that, it increases the accuracy of your gun. So I do recommend free flow handguards. I will say that. Even if you do have a front sight post like I do, a lot of guys have the flat tops. Alston has a flat top. I'll show you here in a little bit. I like front sight posts. I like co-witnessing. You can't really co-witness with an ACOG, which is what I have.
Sits
a
above
Trijicon
it.
ACOG.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does sit above it.
Which is going to be most sights that you get specifically for an AR. They're designed to sit higher.
Unless you have a real low resting red dot. Yeah.
Yeah, which you can get.
Yeah.
But I've noticed now, even just when you look through like Optic Planet or something like
They all have risers.
Risers and stuff.
Yeah.
And even at that, a lot of them now too co-witness with the lower flip up sights.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to look under the optic and co-witness with your irons, and then just move your cheek up a little bit, and then you're on your dot. I think that's pretty neat. Honestly,
it's sweet, dude. Me and you went through such a great time being in guns from like 2015 to like 2020.
Oh yeah, you couldn't find shit.
Oh
yeah,
well, but things have just gotten so much
better. Yeah,
like it's like the most advancement.
We had to do it ourselves. We had to buy and stack 2 or 3 risers on each other to get it up over the front side post and shit.
That was my first.
Yeah, they just didn't make shit for ARs. It was still,
Yeah.
Well, because if you think about it, I think it was 2004 when they lifted the ban
on
ARs or assault style rifles or whatever the
fucking
term was in the
stupid.
90s. So.
But yeah, man, it's very simple. Not really going to change anything else out on this. I do have a Huxworks flash hider on here. The reason why is because I do have a suppressor.
Bad boy on. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is a huge flex. So in order to get that piece that he's screwing on, that's called a suppressor. Nobody calls it a silencer. If somebody calls it a silencer, they don't know what they're talking about. This isn't the 90s. It's not an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. That's a suppressor, and that's designed to suppress the explosive sound of the explosion that is the bullet coming out of the barrel.
Yep.
So I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah,
But
this thing's
big
pretty,
flex.
This
big
thing's
flex.
pretty sweet, man. This is not very beginner stuff. If you have money, man, and you're looking at getting into this type of stuff, I recommend just fuck it. If you can afford it, just buy a suppressor. The approval
Seriously,
time,
yeah, I agree.
The approval time's cut down so much, you're going to save your ears.
Now's the time to do it.
Yeah, now's a great time to do it, especially with Trump being back in office.
I am doing it very, very soon.
The Huxworks is nice. It's got the new flow-through technology. It propels the gases out away from you. Traditional, regular baffle system AR15 suppressors have a lot of blowback, so a lot of that gas that is supposed to be coming out of the front of the gun actually gets sent back into the gun and back into your face. It is not super enjoyable with some of them. Some of them are pretty bad blowback, which also they found out recently that shit causes cancer, man. A lot of special forces guys are getting fucking nose, lung cancer from just shooting with suppressors.
The gas from, yeah.
I had no idea.
Well, it's, you get the lead residue and whatever chemical compound is in there with the charge. Yeah. Says it on the boxes of ammo. It's known to the state of California to cause cancer.
Well, they fucking put that on everything.
I mean, California, maybe they're onto something out there.
Well, yeah, man, this is a simple rifle. I got just a regular mil-spec trigger. I'll probably swap that out soon. Triggers, Mil spec triggers are like what, 6 to 7 pounds?
Yeah, I think
most of
so.
them? And
Yeah.
the pound rating is just essentially how hard you have to squeeze in order to get that trigger to break.
Yeah. So it's more of like a safety thing.
I recommend people shooting with a mil spec for a while.
Yeah, definitely. I would say the same thing. Start with a mil spec.
Yeah.
Learn your gun. Learn your, how to be accurate and smoothly pull back on one of those, and then upgrade. Because by then you're gonna know what you want, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I agree. I agree totally with that, actually. Because I think genuinely, if I were to tell you, here's what you need, like here's what you should focus on, right? Like if you're going to add anything to it, genuinely, I think a trigger is important.
It's very important.
But for an absolute beginner, don't worry about it. Just shoot whatever trigger it comes with.
I'd say when it comes to an AR, it's probably if I had to go in order, I would say it was the third most important part. 1 being the gun,
trigger,
2 being the optic, 3 being the trigger.
Yeah. Trigger, yeah, I agree. Now knowing what we know, right, and knowing what we like me personally, I like a single stage trigger, not a 2-stage trigger. The difference between those is a two-stage. Let me get this out here. A 2-stage trigger pulls all the way back, right? So it's going to have a longer pull backward. And that's going to, set off the trigger, bang, hit the end of the round, right? And then a longer pull back to where it resets, meaning your trigger resets, you'll hear a small click, and then you can start pulling back again. So that whole process is a lot more movement and a lot more strength from your finger, whereas a single stage only goes back maybe a quarter of an inch.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you release that pressure, it's already reset. Again. Yeah. So it's almost like clicking a mouse compared to, it's not, but you know what I mean? It's almost like clicking a mouse compared to a mil spec that's got a lot more movement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you get to that level and you understand the basics and you're accurate and you understand your rifle, you understand safety, all the things, right?
Yeah.
Then you want to get a lesser, a shorter pull, faster reset time, where you can shoot faster and then get good at that, right? You're ready for that next step. But don't worry about that right off the rip. If you've never owned a rifle, don't worry about the trigger right away. And if you are at that step, shoot us a comment. We'll let you know what to get.
But that's pretty much it, man. The one thing I will go over that I am kind of a fucking Nazi on is barrels.
You heard it here, folks. He's a Nazi.
Just for AR barrels. I highly recommend, man, if you're gonna buy one AR15 and you want it to be your fucking end of world gun, you need to have, it has to be a 4150 chrome moly vanadium barrel. Has to be. Stainless steel will not last as long. It won't, especially if it's going to be a dual rifle. Some of them claim they are. There's cold hammer forged stainless steel barrels out there. That are, supposedly last 20,000 rounds. Most of them aren't. Most of them are regular, I think they're, button rifled or button?
I don't know.
But regardless, the way that they create them, they're not going to last as long. These are more heat resistant, especially typically if they're nitrated or chrome lined.
Yeah. Yeah, the chrome line's going to dissipate the heat much faster than
supposedly
than the steel.
So... Well, then stainless steel, yeah, absolutely. But for nitrate versus chrome line is like the fucking age-old, I'm going to put this down, the age-old question. And it's really gotten to the point, man, where nitrating has gotten so good in the last 5 years, people are really saying there's not much of a difference. If anything, if you're buying a shittier chrome line barrel from a company that's not fantastic, they're going to fuck up so the chrome lining is actually, they make the barrel and then they go through after and do a chrome lining, and it's some sort of electrical.
I see what you're saying. It's electrolysis, yeah.
Yes, so they bond the chrome to the barrel, and if they fuck that up, it's going to be very inaccurate. You're going to have flyers like fucking crazy.
Yeah, because you're going to have two different sets of heat competing with each other because it's such a thin layer of chrome. That makes sense.
I'm not shitting on this company because I know they make good guns, but I've seen a couple videos of people who bought Green Mountain barrels. I don't know if you know that company, Green Mountain.
Never even heard of them.
They're pretty good. They make good stuff, but they had some issues with some of their chrome lined AR barrels where people were getting some fucking flyers.
So what that barrel is what came with the BCM upper.
Yes,
Okay.
I don't know if it was cold hammer forged or if
I'm
it was
sure
button
it
pen.
is.
It probably is cold hammer forged.
I'm
BCM's
sure.
a good company.
They're a solid company. I was actually going to say that too. Like if you're someone who just wants to buy like a complete rifle, you don't want to dick around with like assembling it yourself and everything, which I honestly recommend you do.
Oh,
Maybe
for
not
your
as
for
crazy
your
as
first
like
time,
yeah,
absolutely.
like maybe get a complete lower because that can be a pain in the ass, and
Yeah.
then like a complete upper, and like
just put 'em
separate
together.
parts or whatever, because that can be kind of a pain in the ass if you're not that into it. It might kill your spirit right away, but definitely like I do recommend getting a cheaper lower. Again, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Save the money where you can. Go to PSA like we said. Get the cheap $50 lower or less. Sometimes they have sales like blemish ones. They function correctly. They just have like a scratch or a dent on like the outside. Who fucking cares? You're gonna put scratches and dents on it if you're using it correctly.
Or if you're gonna paint it, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, or
you know?
that too. Some people paint their rifles and make them cool and camo. Like you did a paint job on that.
I did.
We actually didn't talk about that.
We
That's a
didn't.
fantastic paint job. So he didn't buy it that way. That all was black.
Yep.
So he did like kind of a spray paint. I'm assuming finish, right? Like
Yeah,
kinda
I grabbed some. I grabbed palmetto, fucking palmetto palm. Like leaf.
nice, and did like kind of the camo effect.
Yeah.
No, it looks really good, dude.
This is just
how did you
rattle.
get it to stay so well? Is my question on
So
the metal.
you-
Like why? Like every time in my personal experience, every time I use spray paint on metal, it always has that like sticky. It's like sticky afterwards. You know what I'm talking about?
So-
Like very fingerprinty.
Yes. So this is what I highly recommend. First, you have to prep it. Fucking blast that bitch with brake cleaner. It'll get all the lubricant, gun oil, everything off of there. Blast it with it. You got to do it. That's honestly the longest part is the prep.
Interesting.
Just hose it down with brake cleaner. Get all that grease off there. I always do. So I painted like probably 4 or 5 rifles now. I always do my base coat with like FDE, typically like a light color. With this one, I did FDE, and I want to say the company's called Gun Coat, and it's an actual like chemical reaction mixture in an aerosol can. So you have to break this little thing at the bottom of the can.
So
And then
just not to interrupt you, but
Sorry.
the paint you bought specifically is for painting.
Painting rifles.
Guns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They
All right.
have like over 100 colors. Dude, I mean, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Pink, red, go
So this
crazy.
ain't no Rust-Oleum shit
Oh, no.
here,
So,
boys.
so the
Yeah.
shit that I put on top of it is Rust-Oleum.
Oh, you're saying so the primer
The-
that you use.
The primer, essentially.
Gotcha.
I use a really good primer, and if your primer sticks, your
You're
top
just coating
coat
on
with the
top of it,
Rust-Oleum's
yeah.
not going anywhere.
It'll stick to it.
Yeah.
Nice.
But this shit, man, the actual base coat with the gun coat stuff, that shit does not come off of anything. I've tried getting it off of guns before, and like you might get 10 to 15% of it off. So you better make sure you do a good job. You don't want to fuck that up. I've tried a bunch of different ones. I've tried the Air Cerakote.
I'm
Those
gonna
don't work.
consult you before I try to paint mine. I
No.
don't know. I haven't decided. I think I might try and paint mine, but I don't know. I don't want to fuck it up and make it look dumb either. I kind of just wanted to put
There's-
like gray, like dark gray, like tiger stripes over it, and then leave black.
I actually
But-
did that. The upper has a lot more gray on it. This really didn't get much of it, but the upper had some gray on it. So this is actually the upper or the lower that I originally used for my Daniel Defense, or the lower that I originally used for my Daniel Defense. But I switched that. This is more of like a medium range build. My Daniel Defense right now, I set it up as like a mock SPR, special purpose rifle, which is like a more like medium to long range kind of setup. It's got an actual variable zoom scope, 4-16, I believe, Vortex, Venom, or Viper. I can't remember. It's like semi-nice. I think it dropped like $500 on it.
Nice.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for this bad boy.
There you have it, folks. And those suppressors right there, what he was saying earlier, too, about the NFA stamp that you need, that is something I'm assuming you can just go into a gun shop, right?
Yeah, so you have
And
to find a gun shop.
Do you have to buy the suppressor from the gun shop to also take the NFA there, too?
No. So they'll
Okay.
do.
So you can just walk in and do your NFA without...
So the way they look
Can
at
you get
it,
a suppressor shipped directly to your house after you have your NFA? or does it have to go to an FFL?
Got to go to your FFL.
I know we're using a lot of acronyms here.
So FFL is any licensed firearm dealer.
Yeah.
What I did,
federal firearms license.
one of our local gun stores, they have it's a silencer shop. They're like they're like Walmart for fucking suppressors, or Amazon, I guess, because you go online, you can see everything they got. Some stores keep some of their suppressors in stock. I made the mistake when I first went. I just bought the first one that I saw, and it's a great suppressor from the reviews that I've seen, but it's a Dead Air Nomad LTI, and it's called the Cross Country. So it's a super lightweight. It's really meant to be shot like bolt action, semi-auto. Like you're not supposed to rip fucking mags through it.
It gets hot.
Let's be honest here. If you're ever in a scenario where you have to shoot 180 rounds within 10 minutes, you're fucked. As a civilian, you're fucked.
Well, I'll tell you this. Like you just said, if you're in a scenario where you just shot 180 rounds, right, in rapid succession, you're either fucked or you were almost fucked.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. But there's definitely, when you get into the suppressor game, man,
it's a lot.
If you're just going to be one and done, I'm a fucking idiot. I got a third one on the way. If you're going to be one and done with it, just buy I recommend buying a 30 cal. This is a 30 cal, so this is the 7.62 Ti. Huxworks says that this is full auto rated. I just don't fully trust the titanium. Ti stands for titanium. So there's two different main metals that they use for the suppressors. I'm just going to do this real quick because I know this is a lot. So titanium is just lighter. Inconel, stainless steel mixture. I think there's some others too, but those are the main two. So we're trying to go over that. Stainless steel, that's what the SEALs use. They use Surefire suppressors, RC2s, whether it's 7.62 or 5.56.
Is that they use that specifically for the durability?
I think mainly it's because of the durability, but I think it's also because they were already using Surefire pieces. I think the military already had contracts with Surefire.
Gotcha.
And they were
so it's probably not what they would choose. Because I was going to say that is actually interesting to me because
they're switching to these supposedly.
Well, good. Because as a welder, I'll tell you, know a thing or two. I took so when I went to welding school, a portion of that was metallurgy, meaning understanding the different metals between non-ferrous and ferrous, which is just the alloy content in a metal. So steel is ferrous, meaning it doesn't have any alloy content or very, very low alloy content to it. Whereas something like aluminum is
a lot of
alloy, to the point that it's not as strong. You know what I mean? The parts per million, the density is very weak. So anything with a lower density is going to dissipate heat a lot faster, right? It's like the difference between one of your thin stainless steel pans and a cast iron pan. A cast iron pan is going to stay hot for a fucking hour.
I've fucked myself up on
cast iron. And the whole pan gets piping hot because that heat, just has nowhere to disperse because the metal's so thick. Whereas something thinner, it's going to disperse the heat a lot faster. Same with the alloy. So a stainless steel, out of the three that you just named, the stainless steel is going to hold on to that heat the longest.
So it does.
Rather than the titanium or the Inconel, which is going to disperse the heat a lot faster.
So the stainless steel Inconel blends really, they do hold better, or they do hold heat longer, but it does take a while for them to get hot.
Yeah. They're probably also more durable.
Oh yeah.
For that, because
absolutely.
It's a denser metal. Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I don't like about titanium. I've seen I've seen a couple of guys. There's a Rooftop. Is it Rooftop Defense?
That's the name of a company?
Well, it's this guy. I'm telling you, this guy should have millions of followers on YouTube. So he is some dude who owns, I think he's an not NFA. Yeah, FFL. NFA. He's an NFA dealer too.
Okay.
And he just tested. So he made 8 videos testing the main popular suppressors, and did this completely self-funded. He might have 10,000 followers on YouTube. He did a nighttime shoot with them, tested them to show people how bad they flare, because suppressors some of them still do have some sparking when you shoot. That is their main purpose, actually, is to suppress the flash of your rifle. For night combat, not mainly for guys shooting with.
So that's
optics.
Not a baffle strike or anything.
No. So with titanium, they actually flash a lot more than stainless steel. That would be really funny if it was about
I laughed just because like I realized
That
a
would
lot of the
suck.
terms we're using, like if someone doesn't know
Blows.
anything, is like, what the fuck is a baffle?
Baffle strike on a suppressor is not good.
It's not good.
It's
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
That means you got to get a new ATF stamp.
Pretty much. Oh, so I meant to ask you that too. So the NFA,
Yes.
the tax stamp, is that per item, or now that you have paid that tax, you can buy as many suppressors as you
Per
want?
item, buddy.
Fucking government. I
item.
tell you what, guys. So essentially, the government wants you to pay a $200 tax on every NFA
205,
item
baby.
you buy. So again, a suppressor is an NFA item. NFA means National Firearms Act. It was signed, I think, back in the 30s or some shit like that, when people were running around with fully automatic BARs and Tommy guns in the street, right? Like the OG gangsters. Government set a law in place that says, hey, man, you can't just go down to the fucking local gun shop and buy a full auto gun. Now we want to know about it. I
Because
guess right,
$200 back in fucking the 20s or 30s.
Yeah, it hasn't changed since
was
the
like
30s.
Was
Yeah.
like crazy.
That was crazy. So like only rich people could afford that, which is hilarious because all those gangsters were rich because they were selling
so
booze.
they were
So
still
it's
buying
like-
them. Yeah.
So basically, Joe Blow couldn't get that to defend himself, but the guys who were breaking the law could easily
Bootleg
afford
and
that.
fucking, yeah.
Make it make sense. But yeah, it's $200 because they say so. There's not really a reason why it's exactly $200.
Yeah.
Again, it's an extensive background check. It goes to the FBI. I can't imagine it's that much more extensive than what you already have to go through when you purchase a firearm. But here we are, right? Because when you purchase a firearm, if you don't have a concealed carry, you're going to get a background check that goes to the FBI. That usually clears in 10 minutes, 20 minutes tops, right? So I guess that's more of an extensive background check. They
It's
look
just the
like if you,
fingerprints. That's really
the
only
fingerprints,
difference.
but
it's the same document.
well, I've heard that if you have an expunged record, they actually can lift and see that for that specific purpose.
Really, but they
Yeah.
can't for a regular
So if
general
you,
background check.
and again, they won't reject you unless it's something that was expunged that was like a violent crime or like something to do with a firearm related crime, which again, most of the time they're going to catch that with the simple FBI background check. But again, some people have slipped through. It's not very common, but that's extensive. That takes, I'd say, up to probably a week, 2 weeks, like at its shortest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was at one point like 2 fucking years. I don't know why. I mean, I feel like that's why most people were like, fuck that.
Old Gary J, he got a dead air, and he said it was a week. His got
1
turned
week.
around in 1 week.
Wow.
They gave it to him.
Yeah. So anyway, but it does take a lot longer than 10 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm just trying to cover everything. NFA. So yeah, National Firearms Act. That's for full auto weapons. That's for short-barreled rifles.
Yes.
SBR, not to be confused with an SPR, which is a special purpose rifle, which just literally is just a fancy term for usually a longer range build, or like you said, a shorter range, like
Anything shorter than
CQB, like something for a specific purpose, right? Like you build a short rifle specifically to use like indoor and like close combat situations. You build a longer range rifle with like a bipod and like a longer range scope. That specific purpose is for longer range, more accurate shooting. It's a specific purpose rifle.
And then there's something that
Special
you'll
purpose
probably
rifle.
see a lot if you're getting into this, called a recce rifle, which is essentially a do-it-all rifle.
Yeah, which is essentially kind of what we're showing you. At least mine. Mine is definitely built more in like a recce style of like, I want it to be able to do a little bit of everything okay, right? It's not like particularly
Jack of all
great
trades.
at one thing, but
Master of none.
it's a do-all, right? So that would be more considered a recce build. And again, I think most recce builds you're going to see are like more like camouflaged, more earth tones to be able to like, again, using a shit hits the fan kind of like you got to throw some bushes over top of you and hide from some trucks driving by or something. That was a really specific scenario, but just I think that's more what they're in mind for. Mine's more of like a Gucci recce build, if that makes sense. Like wanted some flair on it, you know what I mean? Wanted to look cool at the range. And yeah, so I guess I'll just go ahead and grab my shit, get into it. Hold on. I'm also going to grab a Red Bull. Hey guys, let's talk about something important, comfort. And when it comes to staying cool, dry, and chafe free, there's only one name you need to know: Cincinnati Gym's Ball Starch. Now, this isn't just any product. This is proudly made in America, right here in the great state of Ohio. And get this, it's made with 100% American-grown corn. Jim hand-picks every ear of corn that goes into the starch-making process himself. That's right. Jim doesn't just care about your quality. Jim cares about you. Specifically, he cares about your balls. I've been using Cincinnati Jim's ball starch for a while now, and let me tell you, it's a game changer. Whether you're hitting the gym, working a long shift, or just trying to survive this summer heat, this stuff keeps you comfortable all day long. I use it all the time, and I would not go without it. So if you want a product that is not just made in America, but made with care, by someone who genuinely cares about your comfort, give Cincinnati Jim's ball starch a try, because Jim cares about your balls, and you deserve the best. Cincinnati Jim's ball starch. Stay cool, stay chafe-free. Get yours today.
Oh, I don't know what it is, man. The smaller ones taste way more potent.
They hit, right?
They do.
I'm telling you.
Oh, man.
They hit, baby.
That's good.
All right, guys. So this is going to be hard to do with one hand, but I'm going to try my best. I should have gotten like a little table stand for this. That would have been perfect. But here we are. All right. So like I said, when he says recce build, it's more or less like not specifically purposed for one thing, but a little bit of everything. I do have a handguard here. There's all sorts of different handguards. There's vertical handguards.
Hand stop or hand grip.
Yeah, this is more considered a hand stop. I had somebody at the range tell me I put it on backwards. I said, no, sir. You can put it either way. Some people want like the back of their hand, so where they're like pulling with their palm.
Well, some guys like to hold it like a vertical, where they grip it like this.
Yeah, they're weirdos too. Yeah, they'll kind of like cock their hand. I know what you're saying.
It's so funny. He handed it to me earlier, and I gripped it just like he's doing now.
That. That's what I do.
He's like, that's exactly what I do.
I put my finger on the front.
It's very comfortable.
And I wrap my thumb around the top. That's what's called a C-clamp grip.
And that's what I really like about this handguard too. I actually have the same Atlas handguard on an 11 and a half inch upper. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing. I love this. Without the Picatinny up top.
Yeah, it sold me.
So comfortable.
It sold me on it because I was watching somebody do a review of it, and I was like, damn, look how fucking... Because he didn't have anything on the bottom, and he was like, I still can touch my thumb, but he was like overlapping his thumb. Like he was gripping the fuck out of it. I'm like, that's what I want. Also, it doesn't have the rail on top, where a lot do have the rail on top that has like that thicker panel. My thing was I wanted it skinny to be able to wrap these gorilla palms around, and light. I wanted it to be able to disperse heat quickly because, again, this is something that nobody tells you. You have to learn the hard way. When you're having like a good range day and you're firing lots of rounds, rapid fire, and you're just running through mags, this handguard is going to get hotter than the devil's fucking dick.
Yep.
So it is why, again, it's going to be hard to see from this angle. You can see, but these little rubber things on the side are little...
You just kind of tell like where the M-lock stops.
Yeah, you can see where they stop. So I purposely put these on here. These are heat dissipation little panels. They're like really, really thick.
Do you wear gloves
rubber.
at the range?
I do. I wear one glove at least.
I do. Yeah, I do now too.
So yeah, I wear a mechanic's glove, which helps. And then I have, like I said, they're down here too. Anywhere where my hand, it's out in front here. Anywhere like my hand or finger's going to touch, again, over the top. It sucks. It's just going to get hot there. That's why I wear a glove. But I put as much on there as I can to dissipate that heat and keep it off my fucking fingers, because this thing will get fucking hot and it sucks. Let's see. So, yeah, the handguard's nice and light. Got the heat dissipation. You can see on the top, too, nothing special here, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, when you go to, if anybody tries to trick you and tell you that you need like a special brake or something like that to help you with recoil mitigation, stop it. All you're going to do is blow your fucking eardrums out and everybody else around you. This is one of the loudest fucking rifles you'll hear. And I'm not kidding.
Can I just throw this out here, too? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Did you have a story that you were going to say?
No. I'm just going over the whole thing.
You seem like you're mad at me now.
Not at all.
Are you okay? Suppressors, by the way, if you're some like real newbie and you've been watching, James Bond your whole life, they don't do that.
No,
that's not real. If you shot someone point blank and there's another guy right next to him, that guy's gonna hear you. It will protect your ears and the people around you's ears to an extent. It's still not technically hearing safe for the shooter, but goddamn muzzle brakes will just fucking
murder
fuck your ear, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Please don't.
So
do
I
that.
guess to quickly explain what a muzzle brake is, it goes on the end of your barrel, just like that. Right there is. It was called a flash hider. You have other ones that are specifically to. They dissipate all the gas discharge out to the side and out, usually out of the top.
We could kind of show it. With
Yeah, yes. Unscrew that too. That's just made to dissipate that gas pressure out to the sides and out the top to help, keep the recoil, right? So that's going to help with recoil. Again, this is essentially, yeah, you did.
Hand wasn't on the trigger, guys. Relax. Hold on.
Yeah, I actually don't have my bolt open either. Hold on.
It's open, nothing in there. Mag's empty.
Mag empty. Yeah, see, I have a mag in mine. That's definitely more intimidating. Again, this is a somewhat see-through mag because I thought it was cool when you have rounds in it. It looks dope.
I didn't have my mic up to my mouth.
Yeah. So as you can hopefully see, there are no bullets in there, and then you can see in the barrel,
Guys, we
in the
checked
chamber.
fucking 2 to 3 times at least.
We've checked these a lot before we started handling, but again, it's always good to do it on film for the the safety instructor that might come across this video and have a heart attack. You guys don't know what you're doing. But yeah, so a muzzle brake, like if you look at his, lots of holes, lots of different areas, lots of holes in the front. That's just dissipating that gas everywhere but back at you. That's all it does. But what it does on accident that I don't really think anybody intended to do is it makes it extremely fucking loud. The loudest sound I've ever heard, and it's sharp. It like cuts your fucking eardrums
It's
in
bad.
half. I don't know what it is specifically with the 5.56 round, but it's unfucking bearable because I've had muzzle brakes on 308s. Didn't notice that much of a difference. Muzzle brakes on 7.62 by 3.9, which is like your classic AK-47 round. It helped with the recoil mitigation, which is what I wanted, but it wasn't that much louder. I don't know what it is.
It's something with 223.556 is a very high pitched cracking. It's because of the velocity. You're talking about a gun, a 16-inch AR. You got a projectile coming out of it, 22 cal. Fucking, it's moving 2,800 feet per second. It's fucking loud and it's sharp. So even when you shoot with a suppressor, you still hear the crack, but it's not nearly as loud. But with the muzzle brake, you have the crack and it's dissipating all of that fucking velocity or gas from the velocity out to the sides.
Yes, it is.
A lot of force.
A lot of force.
What is that though? 308 is like loud with a muzzle brake, but it's boomy. So it's not as bad.
Yeah, it's not as bad. I don't know. I really don't. I don't understand it. I'm sure somebody who understands like the ins and outs, exact
Could probably.
force and ballistics.
If you're a scientist watching
Yeah.
this, first of all, what the fuck are you doing
But
here?
5.56 is a very,
But
very
please explain.
fast-moving round. It is among the most fast of all the rounds that exist. It's very small compared to all other military rounds. But it packs a fucking punch. It is moving very fast. So that is kind of where it makes up for its lack of mass. It adds velocity by just its sheer fucking movement. So that being said, moving on down the rifle. Again, too, something I think is important on a gun that you're going to use in self-defense situations, whether that be shit hits the fan or something goes bump in the middle of the night. A flashlight. Some people will argue with me about that and say, well, you're going to flag yourself and let people know where you are. Obviously, if it's nighttime and your target is 50 yards away, just don't turn your fucking light on. You know what I mean? Stay hidden until they're close enough to make an accurate assessment of what you're shooting, and plug away. You know what I mean? So lots of things we could go over with the flashlight. It's kind of a hot topic issue. A lot of people don't like them, say they're useless, use nods, whatever. I don't have $4,000 to blow on. I mean, $4,000 is probably the cheapest
cheap.
nods you could find.
Yeah.
So I don't have $20,000 to blow on just nods, let alone $800 for a ballistic helmet to put them on. So I just have a flashlight, so I can see what the fuck I'm shooting at if it's dark outside. And that's all I put it on there for. Hand stop. I got these little decorative pick rails. A lot of the lights and attachments I would like, if I ever get like a PEC, which is like has the IR and whatever, I would put it again side mounted on the other side, so it's not in my way because I kind of have a lower sitting.
Well, if you don't have
optic,
do you think that would block your optic?
Probably. I mean, if you see how low my optic is, you know what I mean. I specifically wanted.
You'd be
canted.
surprised. It might at 1x you might see a little bit of it, but honestly, if you're fully zoomed, I don't think you
probably
would
won't
see
it. Either way, I mean, I don't plan on getting a PEC and putting it on this. And if I do, this is going to look like a completely different.
You know what's going to
suck? If I'm going that far, and a PEC is just like a term. I think it's like a specific type. It's like a big blocky looking thing that most guys put on the top of their rail, but some will put it on the bottom, some will put it on the top. It's usually got a flashlight, an IR flashlight, which IR stands for infrared, meaning you can only see it using night vision. And then a laser, and then also an IR laser, infrared laser that, again, can only be seen by somebody wearing night vision. So it kind of like a do-all, has everything on it type of situation. They're really expensive. They're really cool, but they're really expensive. And if you don't have nods, why the fuck would you need to spend that much money on something that has IR? So that's why I don't have one on here. Let's see, moving down. Like I said, my mag. Everybody, I've even my wife said they're gay, so I guess I'm just gay. I like the see-through. I did a lot of research on this specific company too, because I noticed a lot of the see-through mags were like a cheaper polymer. These are impact rated.
What brand is it?
I don't even remember. Elite Tactical Systems. So check them out, Elite Tactical Systems. These are pretty cool. They even have, like in the promo video, a fully loaded mag and an empty mag getting run over by like an F-150, like slowly, like he sits on it for a second, and they're solid. So, I mean, they're torture tested. They're, the springs, they still use the same springs.
There's a lot of good companies out there besides Magpul.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
Magpul's fucking solid, but yeah, there's other shit out there.
Dude, I've had bad experience with Magpul.
Yeah, nothing's perfect. I mean, yeah. If somebody were to ask me, like, tell me everything I need right now, I would tell you to fit your rifle, anything you want to put on it. I would tell you right now, just to make shit easy on you, go to Amazon and get something Magpul. Anything Magpul, you're going to be okay with, right?
Yeah,
like,
most of the time. Yeah.
They make great, like, middle to the road to, like, middle high-end stuff. They're not the most high-end, but they're definitely not cheap dog shit either.
I will say this.
I mean? Magpul's solid.
A lot of getting these setups dialed to what you want is a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
I have a box full of gun parts that I just did not like.
Yep. You try it out, you end up not liking it or find something else later on down the road that you like better. Yeah. Again, that's why I was saying, too, about, like, don't worry about the furniture. Don't worry about the grip. Don't worry about the buttstock. Don't worry about, and like even the rail is like, I would recommend, right? Through our knowledge and through our experience, a rail that's a little bit light. Definitely something light. Don't get the big heavy quad rails that they put on rifles back in 2004. You know what I mean? They're just heavy for no reason.
They are
you know what I mean?
heavy.
You don't need that. Most people go with most attachments now are made in M-LOK anyway. Yeah. And the difference there too, I realize. So this, how it's like these slotted pieces here. That's Picatinny rail, okay, or pick rail, and then these slots here. I know they just look like it's the design of the rifle, but like actually more down here because I've got most of them covered up. But these larger slots here, and I know it's hard to see, those are M-LOK. And then there's also key mod that no one uses. So don't get key mod.
Fucking key mod. Looks like little peckers all over your gun.
I mean, it's not bad. It's the same damn thing, but it just never really took off, right? Like, people tried, but yeah, it's just a different design, and then you have to get specific attachments that fit for key mod. The most common thing you're going to find right now is either Picatinny or M-LOK. And again, there's so many adapters. If you fuck up and accidentally get an attachment that's Picatinny and you have an M-LOK rail, don't worry. Just get a little Picatinny adapter like this. They make ones that are even much lower profile and lighter that you can stick right to the side you're good to go. You know
I'll
what
also
I mean?
say this: if you're one of these people that's like, oh, well, I want a quad rail because it's just way easier to put any Picatinny attachment. I can just slide it right on there. I don't have to put actual Picatinny on my M-Lock. I get what you're saying, man. Been there, done that. I'm
M-Lock
telling you
is
right
much
now,
lighter.
M-Lock is fucking better. If you're really that much of a dickhead, just get a giant fucking thing of Picatinny and put it on your fucking M-Lock.
I mean, really, yeah. You could get just long, like they make like long 6-inch sections.
Yeah,
just get it all
fucking
around,
do
man.
that,
Because
dude.
your shit's still going to be lighter than a full M-Lock.
Yeah.
I mean, again, think about that on the whole rail all the way down on 4 sides.
Adds a lot
it's
of weight.
so much more metal than you need
It
to
is.
do.
It is a little bit more durable, but
For
man,
sure. You could beat the shit out of it.
it's just not worth it.
I mean, and that for me, I guess I get that on a military application because if you do hit this and bend it and it doesn't fit quite right, then the M-Lock is useless. It's not going to fit the attachment properly.
You could force it. You could force it. You could bend it back,
dude. I could beat the shit out of someone. I could beat someone to death with this handguard, and it's not going to fuck my handguard up at all. So. Choose wisely, I guess.
Let's talk about some companies after this.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to keep moving my way down. But again, I guess I will say the companies. Again, everything red on here is all the same company. It's called Strike Industries. I love them. I love their stuff. They make a lot of colorful. I talk weird with the goddamn Nick pouch.
Dude, it's going to
happen. If I put it in my front
know.
lip, I talk like a fucking retard.
Put it in upper decky.
Yeah. Hold on. Upper decky engaged. So, yeah. So just kind of putting that out there as a disclaimer without having to tell you about every single tiny part. I will say about this rifle and why I'm particularly proud of this rifle, every single thing you see, including the tiny little pins and screws and detent pins and... My God, it just makes me mad just thinking about all the fucking energy and time I put into this.
How many detent springs did you have to order?
12, because half of them shot across the room. No, I did pretty good. I think I genuinely only lost one.
Yeah.
But
you're going to lose one every time, dude. You're going to lose one every time.
And we can talk more about that in person because that's hard to describe over. But a detent spring, anybody who's assembled their lower or, had to do that, they know what I'm talking about, and they know the pain of shooting one across the room
it's always
and it being gone forever.
It's always the one here.
Yeah,
that's the one I always lose.
That and the one for the mag release was such a fucking
that
son
was
of
a tough
bitch.
one too. Yeah,
because I got big fat sausage fingers. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's for the ones who know. You know what I mean? We feel your pain. It sucks. But I just wanted to do it, man. I just I've had other rifles. I was a big wheeler and dealer. I would get guns, build onto them, add attachments here and there, fuck around with them, get bored, sell it, go buy something else. You know what I mean? Or trade straight up, try something different. So this one was the first one that I'm I'm going to build it all the way through. You know what I mean? I'm going to order parts as I can and just completely assemble the entire thing myself. So again, this was a completely stripped lower from PSA. And it is the government issue one or whatever. It just says U.S. property of U.S. government on the side. It doesn't have any PSA markings. It also is the selector switch one. So it does say full auto on it, even though it doesn't actually have it. But it's cool, you know.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, maybe someday. But the upper is an Aero Precision. The handguard is also Aero Precision. The barrel is Ballistic Advantage. The I'm not gonna lie to you. Whatever Optics Planet had, I know it's a stainless steel tube, and I don't know much else about it. The gas tube.
Yeah,
I don't remember what brand it was. It came with the kit.
There's so many different materials too that they use. It's a lot. Gas tubes are a lot.
Yeah, it came with the kit with the block. So I don't remember. But I'm sure it was probably good because that was my intention, was to buy super quality parts and put everything together. Again, Ballistic Advantage, no. Is it the best barrel that's ever existed? Absolutely not. But it is fucking solid. I did my research on it. A lot of guys who ran shit in the military will gladly take a Ballistic Advantage barrel. Again, it is chrome lined Ballistic Advantage barrel.
You guys also got to remember, when you guys dive into this world, man, there's a lot of guys out there with a shit ton of money who don't have wives or kids, and they can be real assholes on the internet and put other companies down. How many fucking AR companies can you name?
Endless.
This gun has been around for so long, dude. They have it figured out, and I mean every proponent, component, the fucking barrels. I mean, if you're a barrel company and you can't get your fucking barrel to shoot MOA to just barely maybe inch and a half MOA, like you're an idiot and you're a dweeb, and no one's buying your shit. Ballistic Advantage makes great stuff. Palmetto State makes great stuff. Aero Precision uses all Ballistic Advantage. Palmetto State uses Ballistic Advantage for their AR-10s.
I've heard that, and the Saber, they have a new
Saber
line. Yeah, so they have a new line of ARs that is like all premium outfitted stuff. Again, not absolute Gucci top of the line, but it's all solid
Nicer
shit.
than most, yeah.
And same thing, you can get a 5.56 fully ready to go with a Ballistic Advantage barrel, cold amber forged, chrome lined Ballistic Advantage barrel, which is awesome.
Yeah.
For like not that bad. I think it's about $800 for the whole rifle.
That's a
but again,
fully kitted out
you're
rifle.
done.
Yeah.
All you need to worry about there is your and again, you can do it cheaper if you do it yourself. I promise, you can do it cheaper. You save yourself at least $200, like for real. You could build a solid rifle right now for $600.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guarantee it. I'll help you. I'll help you every step of the way. But so yeah, moving our way down because I'm just really stalling on this. Let's see what's next in line. I guess
you
I'll
got
go,
a lot more shit. Well, you do have
Yeah.
a lot more shit on yours than mine.
I'll go over the sling. I have to actually check because I don't remember. Oh, Blueprint Precision Sling. I don't know much about them, but it's great. It is great. It came with the quick detaches, so I didn't have to buy it. I was going to do the Magpul one, but this one is exactly the same. It's the same nylon, like fitted, like weight rated.
$30 cheaper.
It was literally $30 cheaper. So I was like, what the fuck? And I didn't have to like go out of my way to buy the whole kit for the quick detents.
Yeah.
Like I didn't understand that. I'm like, just put it on the fucking strap. But anyway, the big thing with these types is it's strapped up right now, but this has like that quick lever for the quick adjustment. That is fantastic. Like I won't buy another sling without it. Like I thought, back in the day it would get in the way.
Look at that after this.
Yeah, I mean, and even at that, you could right now, like after I'm done explaining it. But that's just a band that holds it on there to keep it kind of out of the way from, being sloppy all over the place. But it's great. It does the fucking job. I can sling it over my shoulder and tighten it or loosen it really quickly.
What upper receiver is that?
It's an arrow.
Why is your fucking forward assist like squared off?
Hexagoned off
Yeah.
like that. Pretty cool, right?
That is.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly what model or whatever it was, but I saw that and I thought it was pretty cool.
Because
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
not like
that's
a-
not billet. That's not a billet. That's forged, right?
Yeah, it's forged.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's got like kind of the hexagon.
No, that
shaping
that
on the
is
back.
that's billet.
Where they carve it out of a block. Is what you're saying?
I believe so.
Yeah.
So when it's tubular like this is forged. When
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
when it's
billet.
squared off, it is billet.
I apologize to everybody out
Oh, you're
there.
fine.
Yes.
No,
So it's
I
machined.
I didn't think it was.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah, yeah.
why is that squared?
No,
okay,
it's-
yeah, that's
it's a
billet,
thick
dude.
boy.
Fuck yeah.
Again, I went like it wasn't
Whoa.
like the cheapest one Arrow had to offer here.
You're splitting hairs.
I
between
went
billet
Arrow
forged,
because it
but
was
yeah.
a great price for it being the quality that it was.
Dude, people
You know
are
what I mean?
shitting on Aero Precision now. It fucking pisses
I know.
me
I've
off.
heard that recently. Aero Precision was like one of the. I'm
When
not
I-
going to hear it because I've seen operator dudes. I've seen instructors for classes that run full Aero Precision builds, like everything. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to hear it.
We'll be frying people here in another 10, 15 minutes.
Well,
so.
because I mean, you remember like the original. I remember back in the day when dudes were first getting into building their rifles. One of the most popular brands was Anderson. Do you remember that? Everybody was getting the Anderson lowers.
I bought 2 or 3 Anderson lowers.
And now everybody shits on Anderson like it's fucking the high point of, and it's like, no, they did great. People put tens of thousands of rounds
it's
through
the
Anderson
same-
uppers and lowers,
it's the
and they
same
were
shit.
fine.
It's the
No, they
same
weren't
shit.
the greatest, but they were fine. And
Yeah.
like now everybody's on to BCM or daily defense only. I don't fuck. Like everybody got bougie on us, and I get
BCM's
it.
reasonably
They're
priced.
fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
but it's way too much money.
I guarantee you, it's one of the best rifles you can buy right now.
Well, here's my thing: if you can save $50, okay, on a lower or an upper, it's another $50 in barrel you can put in.
Exactly. And so that right there is like what I'll harp on over and over and over again. Save the money where you can, put it where you should, right? Getting the Gucci fucking, what is it? Everybody loves the Nowitzki or Spikes Tactical.
Nowitzki's stupid.
Yeah, the Nowitzki or the Spikes Tactical with the spider on there or
I did
whatever.
do a Spikes Tactical.
And they're dope, and you had the
my
money to
defense.
do it. But for somebody's very, very first build, don't worry about that. Get the lower from the cheap guy, right? If $50 and up, that's fine. Just get it. You know, that's all you really should be spending on
I
a
agree.
lower is $50, or get the blemish even cheaper, right? But like the lower doesn't matter. The barrel matters. The handguard matters, and the upper this portion here, this upper receiver, that is where all of the explosion is being contained. That is taking the most damage. This here, and then hold on, I'll open this back up. Yeah, we did that at the same time. Nice. You don't have a mic, by the way, too, so don't say too much. But yeah. So this guy here inside there, the bolt. I mean, how much are you allowed to do? I honestly, I think at the point you're at, G, is where people get flagged. Just so you know.
I'm not gonna put it back.
Okay. Well, you have to.
I don't.
He's gonna put it back together.
I'm not gonna put it back together. You two.
But anyway, yeah. So the reason why we're not really breaking these down to a super crazy extent is because YouTube are fucking weirdos, and if you break down a rifle and reassemble it on camera, they consider that like, I don't know.
Regardless, I don't think we'll get flagged. We won't have enough people.
We don't have enough
recording us.
viewers. Yeah, that's true.
So,
we're fine.
I
We
think
can do
we'll
whatever
be
the
okay.
fuck we want. We could sacrifice virgins on here. They'll never catch us.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, this thing inside here is what people refer to as the bolt or the bolt carrier group. What?
We could have even probably got flagged for me putting on and taking off the suppressor. I think that is a thing.
Really? Even when you're not assembling it though. I don't know, because I've watched reviews from highly anticipated guys who took the whole suppressor apart and showed the baffles.
But how long ago was it? Because I think they just started doing that in the last year.
Yeah, whatever. Come and get
Fuck
us, YouTube.
you.
But yeah, so this bolt in here is what people call the bolt or the bolt carrier group or BCG. You're going to see that acronym a lot, BCG, bolt carrier group. There's a lot of fucking little parts in there.
Do you think if I pull the bolt carrier out under the table?
Fuck it, you've already got it. No, just do it. I mean, at this point, whatever, man. You know? That would just hit the ground is called the charging handle. Yeah. That pulls the bolt back. That allows you to manually operate the bolt yourself. What Grant has in his hands is what you would call
we should have done this from the beginning. That's
yeah, fuck it, right? This is
the
what the
upper.
whole episode was meant to be about.
Yeah.
So let's do it. That is what would be considered a complete upper. Now, show them, point to it, Grant. Show them just the upper without the barrel or handguard.
It's just this right here.
Just
From where
that
my
little
hands,
piece.
Where my two index fingers are, this is just the upper receiver.
That's
itself.
the upper receiver. That's all it is. But I'm going to tell you right now, that right there is where you should put the bulk of your money as far as the bare bones rifle. That contains the explosion, right? So that needs to be the high grade good metal. That should be the billet or like whatever you were saying, you know, like if you can get the better construction and still get a good price, go for it. Again, grab the bolt. The bolt goes inside of the upper receiver. That is what operates back and forth. That picks up the bullet. It holds the bullet. The firing pin is contained in that bolt. When you push the trigger, it loosens the firing pin, sends it into the back of the bullet.
Dirty.
Yeah, sends it into the back of the bullet, and then the bullet casing has a mini explosion, sends the bullet through the barrel, and that thing goes flying backwards from the explosion into the spring that's in the buffer tube. We're doing a lot here. That buffer tube, that whole bolt goes backward into that buffer tube, right? And there's a spring in there that shoots it back forward. So when it goes backward,
I'm not going to do that because I don't want to launch my fucking bolt into the wall.
yeah,
But
true. So when the bolt goes backward, it shoots the old used up shell out of your gun, and then when it goes back forward, it picks up another fresh bullet out of your mag and sets it in place for you to push the trigger again, and then the whole process starts over again. So again, the point I'm making here is the upper receiver and the bolt, they're taking the brunt of the explosion, right? Even your barrel has an escape. Like that, those gases and everything are going through there. It's escaping. It has a port of exit, right? Your upper and especially your bolt, that's just eating that fucking explosion over and over and over again. Your bolt is getting sent backwards from an explosion and then slammed back frontward by a fucking super tense spring.
And once again,
those need to be good, high quality, tough.
This is not an FFL item. You can order a whole assembled upper with the bolt carrier and the bolt carrier charging handle to your front door. They will drop it off. Every major company sells uppers and lowers separately. So if you really like Daniel Defense and you want to save $500 on a full build from their rifles,
go with their upper.
Buy their upper and then buy a fucking Palmetto State lower, dude.
For real.
I'm telling you, I've done it twice. You can't beat it.
You are going to save yourself such a fucking headache. And, like, even at that, man, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, like, I see somebody at the range, like, maybe you're worried about the peer pressure, right? Like, oh, you didn't go full Daniel Defense. I'm going to tell you right now, as an experienced shooter, right, civilian, sport for fun shooter, I see a guy at the range that's got the Daniel upper with the Palmetto lower. I know he knows what he's doing. Like, like for real.
Oh, you're
like,
smart.
It's a sign to me that that guy knows. I don't have to worry about him accidentally discharging his weapon next to me. Accidents happen, but I'm honestly probably going to be more worried about the guy who's got the Daniel Defense with the EO Tech. Thing looks fresh and clean, like it's never been dropped or never been handled before. You know what I mean? And just kind of looks nervous. I'm going to be more worried about him.
He's holding his gun like this.
Yeah, that lets me know he just bought it. He has no idea what he's doing. He's on his way, but I'm going to keep an extra eye on him so he doesn't flag me too many times. You know what I mean? Whereas, like I said, I see the guy with the Palmetto State lower and the fucking badass BCM upper or the fucking Daniel Defense upper. He knows what time it is. He's saving money on the shit he doesn't need to worry about and putting it into the shit that he should.
God, I wish I had my fucking Draco pistol right now. Oh, my God. I could make so many jokes about those people that bring those guns to the range. Stay the fuck away from them.
If you see somebody with a really short AK and no stock on it, just keep an eye out. You know what I mean? 9 times out of 10, they're either somebody who does know what they're doing and they're having a good time like you, or they don't know what they're doing and they're going to try to shoot it with one hand.
And they're closing their fucking eyes every time they shoot. Going,
or they're going to hit themselves in the mouth and you get to watch that.
That's like a modern day pirate gun.
It really is. And they are modern day pirates.
It really that's terrible.
Yeah, gun guys are going to know what we're talking about. Yeah. Hilarious. So I'll keep working through this slowly. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. We went over the mag. The bolt is nothing special. I actually think the bolt came with the upper, or it might have come from one of my other ones. I honestly...
Air Precision usually does combos. You probably bought a combo. I'd be surprised if you didn't.
Upper.
They'd have great... Yeah, they'll do like the actual upper. Is this an arrow
BCJ?
upper?
Yes, the upper.
So they'll do like an arrow upper with the bolt carrier, and it's usually like maybe $130.
Bro, it was so long ago. I honestly, either it was one that I had like just laying around because it was something I forgot about. I intended to get the nickel boron or titanium one because I wanted the heavier bolt. With the, I hate the chalkiness of the normal bolts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when they get the grease on them and they're all chalky
so this
feeling.
So this is
it's like not smooth. Yeah.
This is phosphate.
Yes.
It's a phosphate finish.
Yeah, to help.
This is phosphate too, but
it's to help to keep all that grease and oil and shit from like seeping into the metal. But I don't like that. I like a more like smooth, reflective finish. That you just wipe it and it cleans right off.
Nickel boron or like gold, like it just looks good in a bolt. Like in the bolt.
That's what I'm going. It's actually on the way here. Yeah. So next time if you see this rifle again, you will see it with it'll look gold, but it's actually just heat treated titanium nitride. Yes.
There you go. Yes. Science.
I'm surprised I remembered that. But yeah, so
elements.
It's heat treated titanium, so it was heated up to a certain point. Alloy metals turn like rainbow colors at different heats. So like purple's a higher heat than gold. So
You ever seen like the
heat treated
oil
and then
slick ones?
Yeah.
Those are gay.
It looks cool when you do it yourself. I used to weld stainless, and that's the easiest one to pull that color out of.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you pull that like rainbow, like where it starts out gold and then it gets like pink and then like
Purplish.
dark purple and blue, it's nice.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's just certain types of metal when you get them hot. So all these little red things, those are all just different little spikes. Not spikes. Strike Industries. The buffer tube is Strike Industries. That's the enhanced buffer tube, so it's like a lot thicker.
I might get one of those. I like that a lot. I really do.
Yeah, the buffer tube
is that
cool.
still mil spec size or is this commercial?
Yeah. So the inside is still mil spec size,
Okay.
but the outside diameter is a little wider. So most of that one actually right there might not fit, which is funny.
This one's got some play. Dude, these old Colt stocks are loose.
Does it have a little play to it?
Yeah. It's
okay.
loose
Yeah.
as shit.
So like a normal like mil spec, like the little shit ones that they give you on the rifle when you buy it.
Yep.
That won't fit that. It's the enhanced buffer spring tube. So it's a little thicker. Just again, that tube to me is taking a lot of damage. I wanted something that would last.
It's worth the
And let's be
investment.
honest, guys. I wanted the red.
That too.
The castle nut and everything too, the whole adapter with the QDs and stuff. Everything
I
is
need to
Strike
get one of those
Industries.
as well.
The stock Strike Industries little rubber pad that they make you buy separately.
That's bullshit.
Really gay.
Yeah.
Really gay.
Brownells
But
do
in
the same thing,
Tarkov
right?
it adds some stability points. So
Oh.
yeah. Anyway, trigger. Let's go over the trigger, people. This trigger is a drop-in.
Dangerously light.
It's a drop-in trigger, meaning like the whole trigger assembly comes already put together. That would probably be like, I don't know, man. Like, again, if you're going to first get into this, just get the complete lower because the actual trigger, like normal trigger assembly with the springs, it is a fucking pain in the ass. And trying to line up the screws and not let any of the springs fall down is super fucking annoying.
Also, there's like gunsmithing kits that you should have to do this.
Right, to hold it in place. Yeah.
Did you have them?
I did actually. I bought the little punches.
I had a punch kit, but I didn't have like they have like an actual like magwell like rester.
Oh
that
no,
you set this in to set the pins and
that would have
everything.
been nice.
Yeah. I was like doing
Didn't
it
have
with my
that. No,
I was doing it on my thigh, like motherfucker.
Yeah. Everything on a table, like come on, motherfucker, and then you just hear something ping across the room.
God damn it!
Yeah,
Same shit, different day,
different day. Fucking pretty much everything you see on here is Strike Industries. I'm a little bit obsessed with that company. They just, I don't know, man. I just like all their shit,
They
man.
make good shit.
They have good, high quality shit, and I just like it. Same with the grip. Strike Industries just went simple on that. Feels really good. It's got a little bit of a, I don't know if you noticed, it's got a little bit, it's angled out a little bit more than like mil spec, but not too much. I've seen the ones that go like way cocked back. It's too much. I'm not into it. And then the piece de resistance, guys, the optic here. That's what you call an LPVO. That stands for low power variable optic. This is a 1 to 8 times by 50 millimeter tube. So, it's got a pretty wide like viewing tube, which was important to me. I wanted something as close to the comfortability at 1 times as a red dot, but I wanted to be able to have that variable zoom to be able to reach out and touch someone. So again, it is a scope, right? Like you would, like a sniper scope or a like hunting rifle scope, but it goes all the way down to 1 times, which means it's 1 times like real time magnification, no magnification basically. So it's, it's an etched reticle. It's what they call a BDC reticle. So a ballistic, oh God, help me out here. Ballistic I just know. I don't know. I don't know either. I know the B is ballistic and the C is coefficient. I don't remember the middle word, but regardless, it is a reticle that has different notches in it.
Dead?
Yeah. The reticle has different notches in it that's set for this particular caliber 5.56 at different yard lengths. So like for instance,
Help
if
you
I'm out
determine
there,
drop.
yeah, it's for your holdovers. Again, we're getting into the advanced stuff. Just buy a rifle and learn how to fucking not shoot yourself with it first, and then we'll go more into the specifics as far as like, you know, ballistic coefficients and stuff like that. But it's nice. I like it a lot. The company name is called Swamp Fox, which is kind of a lesser known company. Did a lot of research into them. So they originally were only doing contracts for like special forces guys. So they were basically custom made scopes for specific units that were special force units. So like like different Delta or like Marine Force Recon, they did a lot of work with at first, and just for specific units. So that enticed me at first. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I mean, the military, they do rigorous testing before they'll accept any kind of anything, right? And this was before the military was using LPVOs. So this was specific special force units for specific missions.
And they were ordering them,
right?
which
low
is
power
crazy.
variable optic.
I
How
had
did
no-
they wait so
Well,
long,
dude? It's so strange how that works. Like those guys have their preferred things, and then they essentially have to go buy them and then have the military reimburse them.
And like test it. So like I found this out. I don't know if the military is exactly the same, but police officers can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I found out that there's only one trigger that is allowed to be used in like police, like
Really?
sheriff's offices, and police forces, and that's for the Glock. It's the agency triggers.
That's the only aftermarket.
It's the
they're
only
allowed to
one,
use.
and it's a drop-in kit, same as like this. It's a drop-in kit, but it's the
That'd
only
probably
one.
be a cool job to be a gunsmith for the sheriff's office.
Yeah. Well, that's the name of it's a company. You can
Well, no,
buy it yourself.
I'm just saying.
Oh
like,
yeah, to
well,
do
come
the
on.
shit. You're saying to do
Hey,
the shit on the pistols.
you think those fucking cops are putting that
no,
fucking in
I
there?
thought you meant like some dude like
the
developed
guys
them, like,
that got
nah, he's a
straight
fucking
C's in
moron.
high school.
But
No, I'm just kidding, dude.
No,
That's
but
just a
so
joke.
yeah, so like anything that like gets used by the military gets rigorously tested to the point of failure over and over and over again, and then they just don't accept half the shit. I mean, let me put it this way: Glock didn't make the cut, which is incredible to me. It's the toughest pistol that they make. I don't know. I don't understand
That was
how
bullshit.
SIG slid by on that
was
one.
bullshit. That was bullshit. They failed that drop test in like literally 7 out of 10 times.
Right now, you hear people about that get recalled for the
Yeah.
drop. Yeah, that's one of Glock's number one things is the drop safety, and we'll go into that more because I'm gonna pull the Glock up next, so we'll talk handguns. But yeah, enhanced. Let's see. So this is actually important. So this, you see my
extended.
yeah,
watch, yeah.
but it's only on the side that I'm actually going to use,
Yeah.
and I love that because that scope. If I was trying to dig my fingers in there quickly, where that scope is set, that'd be such a fucking pain in the ass.
You just grab
And
it
that
from
I
the
just
side.
one finger that thing because it's got a little bit of an assist on there. I don't know if you can see like how it like pulls or whatever.
Mhm.
Whoa, where am I? Right here. All right. So I'm showing Grant. You guys can't see because you don't fucking matter. But yeah, you hear it like click and it
clicking,
like has the
yeah.
assist. But yeah, really nice, really nice. Can't speak highly enough about Strike Industries when you want to get a little bit more Gucci and start adding shit to your rifle. And there's plenty of shit out there. Oh my god, it's fucking endless. I mean, these are literally the Honda Civic of rifles.
Yeah.
Like it's just endless the amount of stuff that they make for this. Some of it's trash. A lot of it's pretty good. But back to the scope, just to finish that up. Swamp Fox is actually pretty cool too. When I found out the name, God, I forget his name. It was like Francis Morrison or
Mel
something
Gibson.
like that. Mel Gibson in the movie The Patriot.
no, I almost
That was
said
based
Braveheart.
on a real guy
Braveheart.
in South Carolina, and he earned himself the nickname from the British, the Swamp Fox, because he would constantly he used guerrilla tactics when that wasn't like the normal to do at that time. Everybody would just line up in a straight line,
Line up,
take
ladies.
shots at each other. And my boy Francis said, "Fuck that." So he would just wait in the swamp that he knew like the back of his hand, whereas the British didn't. And he would ambush, like supply cargoes and stuff like that. So like he was a real motherfucker, and they did not like him at all. And he had a big bounty on his head, and they called him the Swamp Fox. So that's why they named their shit Swamp Fox. And again, check them out if you are interested, because it actually was a decent price. Again, this is I fucked this up. It is first focal plane, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but first focal plane is where if I zero my rifle at 1x and I zoom to 8x, my zero stays the same because of the focal plane of the glass. Right? So if I'm wrong, it is whatever stays at 0, and I spent the extra money on that because that was important to me, because that seems retarded to lose my 0 when I zoom the scope.
Absolutely.
Right? To have to like have a crazy holdover is dumb. Again, spend the extra money if you're going to get LPVO. Spend the extra money on the first focal plane. Don't lose your 0. That's stupid. It's an etched reticle, so if they hit us with an EMP, I don't have to worry about my optic not turning on anymore. It's etched into the glass, so I will always have a reticle to look at. It does illuminate. With the twist of a button, it can illuminate to red, meaning like in low light conditions or something like that, when the black etched reticle is hard to see, you can illuminate it. But again, worst case scenario, something happens, battery dies, whatever. Like you said, somebody's like, an EOTech, what if you get an EMP? Like, that's a really specific situation, but I'm set. And so are you, because you have the fucking Trigicon. But yeah,
Radiation.
I think that's fucking all I can say about that. I mean, there's not really much more to go over. There's a ton to go over. Every little fucking tiny piece of shit part I put in here. Also, the buffer spring I upgraded, and I don't know if that was a great decision. I got a heavier bolt, so let's see if that works out. But the spring I have in there is like a double braided spring, and it is very, very strong. Probably stronger than I need, but I have been told that it actually is good for suppressed weapons.
Absolutely.
And heavier bolts. So let's see.
Right.
But yeah, that's about it, man. This is my baby. I fucking love this thing. I've put a lot of time and energy and money into this fucking thing. Where it sits right now, I think and again, I put most of it on here about 2 years ago. I say it's been pretty much done for about 2 years.
Oh, and it's a mid-length gas system. We didn't go over gas
system. It is mid-length. Yeah. Say where it's at, it's about $2,500. So
yeah,
it's decent, but definitely not anywhere near the top.
Oh, dude,
of what you can get
buy
to.
an entry level fucking LMT for $2,500.
Yeah. So I mean, you can get up there, man. I mean, there's guys right now who are running their rifle and like kicking it in the dirt every day. It's like $7,000 rifle.
Yeah.
So I just didn't have that to spend, but yeah. So slowly going to continue to keep fucking with it and upgrading it, but we're at where we're at now. I've thought about a bad lever. Don't know how I feel about it. You know what I mean? For the mag release.
Not necessary.
I definitely want to get a bigger paddle. That was like the one thing I didn't do
because
I didn't think I'd need it. Yeah. I definitely want to get like a larger, more like protruding paddle for the release, the bolt release, but we'll see. But yeah, if you want to try out that sling, you're more than welcome to right now.
We'll do it after.
Okay. But yeah, let's see. I'll just put it here. Hopefully Grant doesn't kill it. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'll set it on the table. And I won't flag anybody in the process either.
I'm pretty
Watch
sure
this,
I did
dude.
20 times.
Ready for this?
Oh, he's so strong. Hercules.
And then, last but not least, did you have any... like you were talking about like companies and questions.
Well, I was saying after this we could just rip on some companies, what we recommend for ARs.
Trash companies and good companies. Yeah, I like that. All right, so this next one here is your typical Glock. This is a Glock 19. I believe this is the Lord's chosen pistol. I'm one of those.
You're an idiot.
I'm a Glock profession guy.
It's the 1911.
I would take this.
8 rounds of 45. That's all you need.
Yeah, I would take this over anything. I mean, again, if you offered me a Kimber for free, I'd take it, but I wouldn't be stuck with only a Kimber. And I've actually heard they have a lot of malfunction issues. They look pretty, but I've heard Kimber fucks up a lot for how expensive they are.
Well, the 1911 is a tricky piece.
Yeah, because when you try to change it, it doesn't work like the original design.
There's a 500
do
round.
Too much.
There's a 500 round break-in period. You got to swap out. You got to play with it. You got to swap out your what do they call them? Guide rod springs, stuff like that. There's a lot to it. Like 1911s are weird. They're a very weird gun. Most of the time, like you buy a GI one with a lighter frame and a lighter slide, work fucking fantastically. You have no issues. Once you start getting to those big chonky boys, it gets real weird real quick.
It does.
I recommend, man, if you don't have a fucking handgun, this is really this could really be everything you need in one
It
package.
really is.
Yeah. The Glock 19 is a fantastic handgun. I think it's the most popular handgun, I'd say. Yeah, it's got to be, actually.
It was at one point. I don't know if
I'm
it
sure
still is.
it still is.
I think a lot of dudes went out and bought a P320 after they're like, well, the military uses it, so it must be
You're
the best.
a fucking idiot. Sorry.
P320s are great.
Nah, fuck
I've
that.
heard things
Nah.
about the drop safety. So we actually started touching on that. So I'll talk about
I
that.
don't like SIG.
One of Glock's like main, how should I put this? Like one of their main, I won't say like necessarily selling points, but one of their main points of contention, right? Like why people say they don't like Glock, aside from it being kind of blocky looking. Again,
They're very
guys,
generic looking. They all look the same.
Glock, block, right? It's on purpose, okay? They didn't do it on accident. They make it look like a block because they named it Glock, right? So let's start there, okay? And let's build off of that, all right? The drop safety. So there is no actual safety on this.
Well, let's also talk about, kind of the method behind that madness. What are you most likely to drop out of all firearms?
Your handgun.
Okay.
Yeah.
And especially when you're reaching for it, when your fucking life depends on it.
Exactly.
Now, would you rather drop it and kill yourself and, die comically, or would you rather get shot when you drop it by the bad guy? I mean, personally, I'd rather get shot
Yeah.
by the bad guy than shoot myself in the dick or blow my dick off with it, dropping on the ground.
So, yeah. So one of Glock's main things is that they do not put an external safety switch on their guns.
And that does scare.
They don't make one.
That scared me for a while, man. I'm not gonna lie, but it's once again completely cleared.
Yeah, go ahead and clear it for the people. I'll narrate. So he's taking the mag out. He's locking the slide back, checking the chamber.
So you guys, there's no way you can see this, but there's this little notch right here on the trigger, and this is what a trigger safety is. So this notch has to be down in order for the trigger to operate.
Yep.
If I push on the side of the trigger wall like this, nothing,
Yeah.
nada.
So it won't
zilch.
get like snagged on something or something like that. It won't. That trigger is not going to get pushed down unless you meant to push it down.
Yep.
I've even heard that a lot of kids, like when people are trying to teach their kids to shoot, they have a problem shooting Glocks because their fingers aren't fat enough to
Get the whole thing.
depress it down at the same time. Yeah. So there's that. It also has what's called a drop safety, meaning like what he was talking about. So if it were to drop, that trigger and that firing pin aren't going to go off. They're not going to set that round off. And Glock does really well with that. Other than that, Glock is bare bones and basic. Like there's nothing special about
Unless you get a
Glock
Gucci
over
Glock.
Right. Well, unless you put a lot of money into it, right? All I have done to this is completely stock. This is a Gen 4 and this is still an Austrian made Glock. Which I'm excited about because now all the Glocks are being made in the
I
US,
didn't know
which
that.
is
Gen
cool.
5s are in America.
Most are. Like there's some that you can find that are still Austrian.
Still Austrian
but-
engineering.
Yeah, so it's an Austrian company. Gosh, I wanted to say something. Just say like a lot of great things have come out of
A
Austria.
lot of great failed artists.
Yeah. But all I've done to this is just put a flashlight on it. Again, this is my bump in the night. This is what's closest to me. This is what I'm grabbing. You're not he's being silly. If anything, I'm flagging the hell out of that
but
chair.
seriously,
But yeah,
people used to freak out about that shit on YouTube, man. And it's not even flagging,
Yeah.
but it was just even playing with a gun that
Just-
didn't have the chamber open. It's like, dude,
yeah, relax. Like I don't know. I'm a big safety guy, and not
I am
one
too.
thing has made me feel
I
uncomfortable.
don't want to
whatsoever.
downplay.
Yeah.
Absolutely, dude. If a fucking
Extremely.
gun goes off, it's a big deal. But
Yeah.
dude, we've checked these 4 times. Like, it's not.
There is a
easy.
point where you get a little retarded with
Yeah.
it. Again, I get it, man. And again, it's not like I'm sitting here, hey Grant, let me show you this trigger pull and putting it up to his head. Don't do that. Like that's a bad idea. Even if I know it's empty, I've checked it 8 times. I'm not going to point this at somebody and pull the trigger.
Never look down
I'm not
the
going
barrel.
to.
Never look down
Don't
a
look
barrel.
down the barrel. Take the barrel out of the gun if you need to check it. Simple shit. Don't put it in front of your hand. I mean, I've literally seen people at the
there's
range.
videos going.
Well, I've seen where they the guys who racket a lot and then they pull the trigger. Like it's like I don't know what that is to clear the trigger. I don't know, but they put their hand in front of it and then clear it. What's that about?
That's retarded.
I've seen
I saw a video on
like,
YouTube.
A lot of old dudes do it, and I don't understand
I've
it.
seen a video on YouTube, and it
Blow
happens.
your fucking hand off.
It happens with a lot of like foreign people that come to America because they want to go shoot guns. And literally, the guy was like, "Oh, the gun's not shooting," and he puts his hand in front of it to like shoot, literally to shoot his hand to like test. It's like,
Yeah. Let me make sure. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Best case scenario there, guys, is you don't blow your hand off. I don't understand. Again, don't put anything in front of it that you don't intend to kill. If we've flagged each other, it was on accident. We have cleared these guns on camera
mine
and
didn't
off
even have
of
a
camera.
fucking mag
We
in it.
cleared everything like 18 fucking times. There is no ammunition in this room at all. Every magazine is completely empty.
every chamber was checked.
Every chamber has been checked multiple times. Just a disclaimer out there for you guys. As I continue to handle these things and move things around, shut the fuck up. But yeah, that's it, man. I mean, that's all there really is to talk about this. Again, Glock, great brand. Not that expensive. I'd say somewhat entry level expensive. Like I got this one used and it looks brand fucking new, but I got this one used for $400.
All handguns from like a reasonable company are going to start off at around $400, $500.
$400 or $500.
You're not going to find maybe some older.
I really don't
Canics.
recommend going much lower. Yeah, the Canics are cool. Like they're a cheaper one that's like solid. I gotta say it. I know it bugs people.
High Point.
No, the Taurus G2C. The Taurus G2C. I don't care. It might be ugly. It might be a Taurus, and people hate Taurus. I don't care. For a $250 handgun, it has proven itself. I've owned one of the first gen ones since 2014. I've put well over 7,000 rounds through it. It is fantastic. It's never malfunctioned once. I've never serviced the spring.
You got a good one.
I've never heard a bad thing about any G2C.
No,
I
really
feel
haven't.
I feel like if there was anything wrong with the G2Cs, people would be so quick to shit all over Taurus. But it's held up for fucking years. So they're on like the Gen 3 or 4 now of the G2Cs.
No, man, Taurus isn't as bad as it used to be. I will say that, but I still, man.
And I won't speak for any of their other guns, just so we're clear. I'm
Just
only
the G2.
speaking for the G2.
They have some pretty cool looking
yeah.
1911s. They're not a terrible company, but
I actually have right there.
I really
in there.
in the case.
Yeah, I don't know why. Do you want me to grab it?
No,
I'm gonna grab it.
It hasn't
This
been checked.
one might accidentally go off by itself.
It hasn't
we'll check
been
it on camera.
It hasn't been checked. No, but I really don't think you could go wrong with the Glock. Any of them, if you want to go, if you're a big guy like me, I can carry a Glock 17, even probably a 34 just fine, and not have too much of a print on my body. Print is when the gun kind of is visible when you're concealed carrying. This great state of Florida, we actually have just full-on concealed carry. You do not go to a concealed carry class. You do not need a concealed carry license, CCL. You can just conceal carry.
All right, so I accidentally told a lie. There is ammunition in this room.
Fuck.
So remember when I grabbed that Glock earlier and I was like, where's my other mag?
It's up there.
There's my mag right there.
Oh.
So that mag has ammunition in it. I'll move it or whatever. Yeah. Where I'm not going to put that
Just
in the
don't
Glock. I'll
put that
leave
in
it
the gun.
within. I'll leave it within camera view, and I'm going to check this now on camera while it's pointed down in a safe direction.
I always do it to the side, to be honest. I never point it down when I check. Ooh. That could have been really bad.
Clear. My Bulgarian steel case in there. I'm such a cheap fuck. All right, so we're not going to put the mag back in it.
It's a
That
Taurus,
also
dude.
has
It's meant to
ammunition.
shoot steel case.
That's true. And I'll tell you what, it eats fucking steel case like nobody's business. I've never tried aluminum case, though. I don't know what people were thinking with that shit.
I've never tried aluminum either. I've
Don't.
had zinc-coated steel case.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest shit that I've used, is zinc-coated steel case by Bear.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, they literally came out with aluminum cased.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that much cheaper, so I don't even understand what people... They're
you
like,
can't
oh, it's
reuse
lighter than brass. By how much? Like, who fucking cares? You still have a fucking, like, copper and brass, like, projectile, so where's the...
Gotta get my out of that shot.
Whoa.
We're gonna get flagged for sexual content.
You think so? Your feet are pretty sexual.
Yeah, they look like giant hobbit feet.
So this is the Taurus. Again, they don't say Millennium anymore. It just says G2C. This is the Millennium G2, the PT-111. Like they don't even.
And that's
good
your,
luck
that's
finding
your stripper
this.
gun.
This is my stripper gun. This is my this is my burner. Like
Don't.
this is, yeah.
Stop
it. This is my burner, man. This was $250 back in 2014. I have fucking ran this whore into the ground, and I mean, I think I've maybe cleaned it 5 times. Not kidding. It's so dirty. You want to check
There's
it?
guns like that.
It's so
There's
fucking
guns.
dirty.
There's guns like that, man. They just fucking run.
It has the loaded chamber indicator.
Yeah.
Cool little feature.
Yep.
Nothing else really all that cool or special about it, but damn it, man. This gun fucks. The mag does extend out, too, for the pinky, so it actually feels pretty good because that looks really short, but your pinky does catch the mag, so it's not too bad. It has the 1920 rail on there.
A little stipling on it, too.
Yeah, it's got some stippling. Feels good. Here, give it a feel, dude. Again, check it. Check it on camera. The sights are replaceable as well, too. So you can put, like, tritium or whatever.
There's a round in here.
Did you see how dirty it was in there?
It's
stainless steel and it looks black.
Yeah, it's black in the chamber.
I fucking, but that's what I'm saying is like, guys, like I do run my shit to failure. Like again, my AR is dirty. That Glock is probably fucking disgusting. That's probably the dirtiest gun I own, and it's also the cheapest gun I own. So make it make sense. Striker fired.
It just resets on its own.
Yep.
Interesting. So
Yes.
you can practice with this thing.
Yeah, you can practice. That's the trigger pull, and it is
creepy.
loose and sloppy.
It's creepy, creepy like Uncle Jim,
Yeah,
dude.
no, that's short reset, but yeah, it's now. So you see, it has the integrated trigger safety, right? Is it as good as Glock?
Oh, and it
No
has
way.
an external.
It has a drop safety. It has an external safety as well. The sights are replaceable. Right now, I think you can still find the latest version of that gun for $250. And again, I can't sing its praises enough. That's the OG. That's the first one. That's the one that should have had the most problems, the most fuck ups from a company that was still considered shitty at the time.
I think some of them did. I think some of them had drop testing issues. Did they not?
Again, maybe. I've never heard it. I'm not like on the fucking forums checking every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just know from my
they
personal
bought
experience.
Remington?
I did not know that actually.
They bought
Taurus.
Remington like 3 or 4 years ago.
And you know what they did that with? With all that G2 money, baby.
Yeah.
All that G2C money. All the money from these guys.
That really is the only gun I see people rock from Taurus is G2s.
That's the only one I've ever heard that's like
that
actually
and the
decent,
curves. I
reliable.
know some people like the curves, the ones that are slightly slanted, so you can conceal carry them. Like the grip kind of slightly is curved. That's
Oh
what they
yeah,
call
I know what
curves.
you're talking about. The only other one I've actually wanted to check out is the Bursa. Oh, I guess that's not Taurus, so never mind.
Oh, the
I thought it was
PPK,
made.
the Thunder.
Yeah, the Thunder. They
That's
look cool
what.
as shit,
That's
man.
what Frankie's mom. That's what I got her to
Oh,
get.
she rocks a fucking.
Well, she really,
Bursa Thunder.
she really liked how it looked, and I was like, "It's 380, which is what she's an older woman.
Yeah.
She's in her upper 50s.
380 solid, dude. I won't talk shit on 380.
380 hollow point will fuck somebody.
380
up.
solid. Now, depending on the delivery system, but a Bursa, perfect because it's like that full metal construction. It's going to be nice and heavy. It's not too small of a gun, but it's small enough to conceal.
She really liked it.
Dude.
Frankie really liked shooting that gun. Frankie got a mini SIG like 1911 that was 9mm. No bueno.
Really?
Very
Didn't
very,
like it.
Very punchy.
Interesting.
Very punchy.
Is it like
Snappy.
still with the metal frame and everything? Really?
Still very snappy.
Dang it. So there was a time, right? There was a phase we went through as a country. Again, this was like, you remember, like 2014, 2015, like a lot of people were first starting to getting into guns, and they were really trying to market to women for concealed carry guns. So they created, again, I don't know what the exact term is, but the ultra compact.
Yeah.
very small guns, all chambered
2.75
in
inch barrels.
Yeah, like super short, very small. And the idea was that the smaller it is, a girl it'll fit her hand better. She'll like it. If we don't want it to be too heavy, we're gonna make them pink and baby blue, and you know what I mean, like all the colors and shit.
It's so crazy to me that like they didn't like test fire them and go no.
Yeah.
No.
Nobody. They were so snappy. And again, a girl's wrist is like weaker in that aspect than a man's wrist. Me and my wife went through 3 different ones, and I think one was like a Ruger, the LC2 or some shit like that. You remember? It was really popular in 380, but it was so fucking snappy. And we tried a couple other brands. I don't fucking remember what they were, but they all were the same type, and every one of them so snappy that she was stovepiping.
Yeah.
Meaning like
limp-wristed.
Yes. So like so snappy, meaning like the recoil was like twisting her wrist so fast that the velocity of her wrist was not letting the round come out of the top, the empty casing come out of the top of the pistol.
Yep.
Which is crazy to me. Like think about how fast you have to move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they're just letting it.
Yeah.
They're letting it push
right.
around.
So she was, which you should be able to kind of do. And again, with a heavier gun, it's going to counteract that recoil
Absolutely.
more. So again, if you're looking into trying to get your girl a gun, this is a great choice. It's even smaller than the Glock 19, but it's close. I would still consider it a mid-size.
The most pleasurable shooting experience with a pistol I've ever had was a Glock 34, 6-inch long, 9mm Glock.
That's the one that's smaller than this one, right? The 34?
6-inch, no longer. Full size.
Oh, comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. A full-size pistol is going to be the most comfortable, most accurate you're going to
it's
shoot
even
with.
more full.
Yeah.
It's like, it's long. When you look at it, it looks fucking goofy, but
Interesting.
it fucking shoots.
What am
There's
I
no
thinking of?
muzzle
Didn't
flip.
Glock make some mini ones too?
Yeah.
Not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So they made like I remember the 40 series ones
they have
that
itty
had
bitty boys.
that had like the real. It was like the slide was normal size, but the handguards were like insanely handguards.
So
the pistol grip.
It was literally, it was the 19 grip length like this one, but it had to have the magazine. It was literally
you couldn't even grab it.
Yeah, it was 2 finger grooves, and the magazine had to be in for it to be the size of the 19.
I don't remember the model number, but my buddy had that one. Like I said, the slide was normal
But the grip
length,
was
normal
super
width,
itty bitty.
super short. He got one chambered in 40, which was a great idea.
Doesn't even make sense,
Dude, it was the snappiest, worst shooting experience
when
you've ever had.
When you get a concealed carry gun, the main thing that like brushes up against your leg like the most is like the actual barrel and slide itself.
Yeah.
So it didn't really make much sense to me why people wanted to have such stubby grips.
Yeah, because it's out to the side. It's
Yeah.
the length that's going to get you.
Yeah. Just remember that. It's not always about the length.
Yeah. It's all about length. But yeah. I just like hitting the flashlights.
Let's go over some AR companies
Let's do it.
Because I feel
So
like
that's about it with the pistols.
we're very into this, and I think we have a good enough opinion on these to steer people in the right direction. So I'll start off first with just trashing the 2 worst companies that I can think of. Don't have any experience with either one. I've just seen a shit ton of really negative shit online about them from people who actually bought them thinking, this is what I can't afford. This is what I'm just going to do. Just let's see how bad it is. Bear Creek Arsenal, stay the fuck away from them. They literally got popped for having illegal immigrants putting together their fucking guns, which, not trying to be a dick, probably not great to have someone who's been in the country for 2 weeks assembling AR-15s. And another one be Delton. Stay the fuck away from Delton.
I have heard both. Yeah.
Terrible.
Let's see. Well, I'll go the opposite end.
What you recommend?
I'll say great brands. Maybe a little overpriced, but great. So there's obviously your Daniel Defense and BCM, I think, are going to be your 2 most like recognizable brands.
Yep. They're the most represented.
Yeah. There's what the hell?
Spikes is kind of up there too.
Yeah, Spikes for
Tactical.
sure. And they're even like Spikes and Nowitzki I would consider kind of on par with each other. And they're more like a niche, like kind of Gucci. You're like, that's where you're getting into like that Gucci
Nowitzki
area.
is retarded.
Nowitzki is just very expensive. And why are
Nowitzki-
you saying it different than me?
Anytime I've ever heard someone
Nowitzki?
Nowitzki. Did I say Nowitzki?
I'm asking what you're saying.
Every time I've heard someone say it, it's been
Nowitzki.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm saying Nowitzki, and I have no idea.
Regardless, they have like a little Templar-esque cross. I don't recommend them. It's just too, dude. Unless you're a fucking millionaire, man, and you really want that rifle, I'm not going to tell you not to buy it. They make good shit, but $2,500 for an AR-15 is a lot of money, dude. It's a lot of money.
Bare bones is a lot. It's a
with
lot of money to spend with like still having to put money into it just to even have it like
a
to where you want it.
Yeah, it's just a lot, dude.
It's more than you need to spend. Don't let somebody trick you. People are gonna pressure. Everybody's got that friend, right, who knows a little bit, right, and is like, oh no, if it's not Nowitzki. I keep wanting to say Nowitzki.
Noveske.
I think you're right. There's no like KT is the way I'm pronouncing it. Anyway, there's no Nowitzki.
You could be right. I have no idea.
There's no, if it's not this top brand that I heard of, then
stay the
it's
fuck
not
away
good.
from Knights Armament unless you're a military contractor.
Again,
please.
That's a great example. Knights Armament is something that is solid. It's solid. It's
great guns.
proven.
Yeah.
Our government used Knights Armament almost exclusively for their M4s.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm talking even like my buddy who was just, airborne, but like infantry, he used a Knights Armament. And when he got out, when he was looking to get an AR, all he wanted was, and then until he saw that price, you know what I mean? It was like, I think it was about $5,000 by the time it was done for a bare bones, like plastic fucking handguard. Like, you know what I mean? I don't even understand it. I don't understand why it's that much more expensive. You're really just going for name.
If you really want to get like a bare bones entry and build from there, that's what I did. I bought a DPMS Oracle back in the day, and it was plastic A2 handguard. Didn't even have a heat shield on it. It was
DPMS. Was that the one that had like the panther as its logo?
Yeah, they were one of the OG AR manufacturers.
Way back. I always heard about them and Bushmaster. Those were the two first ARs I ever heard of.
They actually really brought the AR-10 back from the fucking grave because Eugene Stoner scrapped the AR-10.
Yeah,
like, fuck this, can't figure it out.
Yeah, in the chamber.
Yeah,
the caliber that he chambered it in.
Yeah, I was like, fuck this, can't figure it out. It's dead. DPMS started making them commercially, and started selling it to civilians. The armed forces, U.S. armed forces, whatever, they ended up started using DPMSs. Knights Armament ended up adapting it and tweaking it, creating the SR25 and all their other variants.
And that's what they used,
yeah,
because they were using like EBRs, probably old refashioned M14s. Isn't that crazy?
They were still using them in fucking like up to like literally like I think 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
Until they fully switched to the SR25.
Yeah. Like
they're pieces of shit.
EBRs?
For what they're not good in the sand. They're not good in the jungle.
Yeah, because they have that open bolt design. Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yep.
With a guide rod that'll break your fucking finger if you put your hand in the wrong spot.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, you get the old style grand thumb.
The slap.
Yep.
It's not fun.
But yeah, as far as like brands go, there's really like you're gonna know right away with the really overpriced shit. That's like, what the fuck is that for?
Yeah, LWRC is one of those.
That's
for me.
what I was trying to think of. LWRC is a perfect example of literally the same, if not maybe even a lesser quality than like a BCM or a Daniel Defense, and it's more expensive.
Well,
I don't understand that. They're like, look at their materials.
Well, they do weird shit. So they do spiral cutouts on the barrels. I forget what that's called, fluting.
Mm-hmm.
So they do spiral fluting, which like really heavily reduces your barrel weight. Like their whole thing is they do a lot of like really, really super custom stuff, which is cool if you have $5,000 to spend on a fucking, once again, a bare bones rifle without an optic, comes with fucking one mag, doesn't come with ammo, by the way. None of these do.
None of these are going to come with ammo.
They don't tell you that. Ammo's not included.
I don't even know if they're allowed to do that.
I think they used to do it.
Yeah.
They used to you buy an AR and we'll give you 1,000 rounds.
Yeah.
Good deals.
Like a gun shop could, but like I don't think like online places are allowed to sell you like
gun and firearms.
The ammo with the I don't know, I feel like there's like a rule against that or something.
It's fucking gay.
But again, just to not beat a dead horse here, but like there are definitely there's the go-to brands when it comes to almost everything on the rifle.
Is your phone
and a lot of them are different.
fully charged?
My phone? Yeah, you want me to check it?
Yeah, just real quick.
I think we're like up there too.
Yeah. We got to be like probably right at the 3-hour mark.
You think so?
Probably.
I'm gonna check. Joey hates when I don't edit these parts out, and I'm not gonna.
We're not gonna. This is all natural, baby. Until we can afford to hire a Jamie.
220.
We're fine. We got another 10, 15 minutes. My staple brands I'm going to recommend, especially to guys who are just getting into it, man, just go to Palmetto State. You can buy an entry-level M4. Entry-level means it has an A2 plastic, handguards, a carbine length with a front sight post like I got. $450, I think, is what they're selling them.
Yeah, you really can't beat it. And like build off of that. Like if you're low budget, don't worry about it, dude. Like and you're even gonna save yourself money getting the complete lower and complete upper separate from each other.
And just putting them together.
Just that
That'd save you like
difference.
another $50-$60.
Just that difference. And I don't know how well the camera can see, but there's this red circle here and this red part here. Those two pins is the only thing that separates the upper from the lower. It's literally just two pins that come already attached in the lower. It's super I mean, it literally could not be more simple.
When I first disassembled my
don't
AR,
worry about it. Like, get the upper separate, get the lower separate. FaceTime me. I'll be able to run you through it.
Fucking when I first got my AR, I actually could not believe how simple it is. Guns are very, like, the engineering behind it is very intricate, but they make it so retard crayon eaters can easily do it. Like, honestly, that's really what it is. So it's very simple. Don't freak yourself out. Watch one fucking video on YouTube that hasn't been taken down yet. You'll do a full field strip on your AR in 5 minutes.
Yeah, for real. And it's honestly one of the more complicated ones. Like, we actually didn't even cover that because I guess this is what we really just, our forte. But, like, AKs, I think, are even simpler than an AR.
Yeah,
They're a
little tricky in some aspect, ergonomically.
Right? Like, depending on your skill level. But I just mean, like, the actual, like, construction that it takes to make an AK work. The stuff you need to take out to field strip and clean is
parts.
far less. Yeah,
three
it's far
parts
less
kinda
than an AR, because really, if a field strip is one thing, like meaning like you're just disconnecting the top from the bottom and cleaning out the upper, and like maybe the breech or something like that. You're probably not even running anything through the barrel. Like a field strip is very basic, basically just cleaning some gunk off.
Your bolt carrier.
Yeah, wiping the bolt down and like adding more oil essentially.
Yeah,
but a really like deep clean, that's going to require you to take the bolt apart. Yeah. And that's complicated. That is. Whereas an AK bolt is literally two parts. And there's no other way you can put the stuff together. It's just two big hunks of metal that click together.
They just fall apart too. Like you can literally
it's weird.
If you hit a fucking AK bolt carrier, the actual carrier part itself that chambers around will just fucking fall out
right apart. And then when you go to put it together, they basically just like twist
slide
and lock.
Back in. Yeah.
Again, not going to go into every fucking gun, but just I'd say
those are the two most common.
Yeah, I'd say the three most common right now, as far as like what catches people's eye, is an AR style, right? And I'll even include Jackal into that. That's an AR style, right?
Yeah.
It's not an AR
Same
specifically,
controls.
but yeah, same style. Your bullpups, which are wide and many, and they're all a little different from each other. And the bullpup just means the magazine is behind the
operating system,
operating system. Yeah, so they just look different. They kind of look like reversed, like kind of squished together guns. They're cool looking.
Starship Trooper guns.
They're cool looking, and I'll get into that in a second. And then the AK, right? So me and Grant, I'd say we definitely agree on recommending, especially for beginners or a person who wants just one rifle to do everything. Get an AR-styled rifle, chambered in 5.56. I was not a believer in 5.56 for a long time. I went through my young rebellious phase, right, where I was like, 45 and fucking 7.62 by 3.9. That's the only way to go. You need stopping power, right? And my little FUD stage,
I started playing Tarkov.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you seriously right now, like the and why I recommend it mainly is you see all the extra little shit that you can put on these, the way that you can completely customize almost every single aspect of that rifle, extremely easy. All of it is literally just like screw it on and it just attaches.
All of these are essentially, I think, actually every AR-15 is mil spec. It's
yes,
the military
unless it
specs,
specifically goes out of its way to tell you that it's not. It'll tell
which
you.
is super rare, but it is possible.
It is, but all AR parts, everything, if it says AR on it and it specifically says mil spec, it all clicks together and fits. And that's what's beautiful about it. You can't fuck it up. You get an AR part, it goes on your AR. I guarantee it fits your AR.
There's a fucking 100 different types of AK variants.
AKs, yes, there's so many different types of variants. And I mean, every AK, even just depending on the country it was fucking manufactured in, could be completely different, and the parts that you buy won't fit that AK.
Yep.
It's definitely a more niche market and definitely has its place for sure. The 7.62 by 3.9 round that the AK-47, right? We have to do that because it's really an AKM, but everybody knows it as the AK-47. That round that it shoots is powerful. It'll go through a lot more shit than probably a 5.56, meaning like a brick fucking building. You know what I mean? Just different shit like that.
It's a 30.
It's a reliable gun. It's got much more loose tolerances. It'll handle a lot more sand and chop. But for the beginner, I just don't think it's the best choice because you're going to be so limited on the things that you can do with it to make it more comfortable and customize it to what you need. Go with the AR. And that's why I said it. Same with the bullpup. It's the same thing. I don't know the customization aspects of a bullpup.
I'm sure it's not too far off.
But it's probably not great because, again, every single one is different. They don't all meet. You have to get that specific brand, something that fits that brand. You know, you can't change out the bolts.
I will say this. I do think it depends on the company you buy. I think all Tavor shit will be compatible with the different types because they do technically now have different generations or whatever you call them.
Right.
I think it's the same thing with AUG. I don't know about Desert Tech. I don't think they've changed anything.
Yeah, MDRs. I don't even know if the bolts, like a 5.56 MDR. I don't know if the bolt is an AR style bolt or if it's a completely different assembly.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's enticing because you're like, well, this gun's cool. I like this gun, but
you need to
no one knows anything about it.
You need to have at least one of these.
And again, here's another really great aspect to think about. And I know a lot of people get bogged out with this kind of stuff, but like, again, to have a life and liberty rifle means it's for everything, right? So it's not only just like for home defense, taking to the range, flexing on the boys. It's all of it, right? But like, if the shit actually hits the fan, right? We'll use that terminology. If something happens for an invader, EMP, the dollar collapses, people go fucking crazy, whatever, right? The most popular rifle in America is the AR. It means there's a lot of people have a lot of ammo, and a lot of different spare parts are going to be way more accessible to that rifle than any other rifle in America. Sure, you might come across somebody with an AK, and you might be able to find some fucking 7.62 by 3.9 ammo. You're not going to find 5.54 or 5.45 by 3.9. That's the AK-74. That's like the newer version of the AK with a smaller caliber round. You're not going to find that. That's super niche. So I just mean like this is the most popular rifle. If shit were to hit the fan, I'm just saying 9 times out of 10, the guy laying dead in the road, whether he's on the opposite side or he's on this side, is probably going to have that gun, and he's probably going to have that ammo on him. I hate to put it like that, but like when you're thinking about things like a grown man and you're thinking about reality of what could actually happen or could be, it's smarter to go with that gun. It is. It's smarter to go with what the most popular is.
The ergonomics are way more forgiving, too, for an AR-15. It's very simple.
Way more comfortable.
It's way more adjustable for someone of varying sizes. The AK is not. The AK almost always comes with stock non-adjustable furniture, whether that be the buttstock,
wood,
the handguard. It's wood. 9 times out of 10, they're wood or some sort of polymer. It's just not great. I've owned fucking 3 of them. they're paying the fucking ass. Really, the main reason why I bought them was just
cool.
because the ammo was cheaper and because they're cool. It's cool to
They're
have an AK. Very reliable,
Yeah.
dude. I've seen. I think it was Brandon Herrera, which was what I was gonna say earlier. I think he like literally shoved a bunch of fucking marshmallows in
Gummy
the fucking
bears,
receiver.
hot dogs, yeah, like all sorts of shit.
AKs
They just chewed it
they
up.
just fucking work.
They work.
Man. They do. They are
Absolutely.
a great platform.
I mean, these motherfuckers over in the desert are using shit from like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, they're using, and they're not
dry
even using
sand
actual Russian
constantly-
ones.
yeah,
they're using like
constantly
Egyptian ones.
Yeah, the Ahmadis. Yeah, which is so funny because now they're worth more.
Yeah.
The Egyptian Mahdi's because they're harder to
Dude,
find.
it's like the
but
fucking,
like back in the 80s, you could literally get a Mahdi
It's
for
like
like
the-
$80, $50.
It's like the Narinkos. The Narinkos were the same
Yeah, nobody
thing.
wanted
People
them.
used to
The
call them,
Chinese ones, right?
Yeah, they used to call them pieces of shit, and then now Narinkos are $2,000. It's
That's
very
so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
And they have
niche.
the band ones too that had like the integrated stock and grip
Well,
and
they-
stuff, and
yeah.
now they're like considered.
well. They had the spikers too, the bayonets that were fixed in there.
Those are kind of cool, actually.
they are.
Yeah,
They are. They're neat. But
all the Chinese SKSs now are expensive.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm literally like, I'm talking from a time that I remember walking into a pawn shop and seeing an SKS for $100.
yeah.
$100.
Now they're like $700.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Mosins.
Yeah, Mosin's same thing, like $500, $600.
I bought my Mosin for $180, and that came with a original Russian toolkit and a Russian manual.
They used to sell them out of barrels at the gun show, and you could literally get Mosins for like $100 a piece.
And that was kind of pricey. That was like a good condition Mosin.
Yep.
Yeah. And again, that's like an old Soviet bolt action rifle that they work great. They're awesome. They're cool to have. I have one. Never getting rid of it, but it's just fucking crazy how much shit costs. So the fact that these have stayed relatively, I mean, the fact that you can still get a $400 AR
That's decent.
That's decent is insane.
Yeah.
Take advantage of that. That's not going to be forever. Like, I promise you,
The
you're
next
waiting
time-
around and you're like, I'll figure it out.
The next
It's
time
not
some
going to be forever, I
Democrat
promise.
cunt is
Yeah.
going to come into office.
You
and
got
fuck
3
everything
years
up.
tops because it's like this next election cycle is going to be fucking nuts no matter what happens.
Well, you know, if things go good, maybe some people will open their eyes. I hope so. I do have some sort of, hope or whatever you want to say, optimism when it comes to that. I think if Trump does a good job this term again, I think people will, be less reluctant to vote for him. Or not vote for him. I'm sorry, to vote red. He's
Third term?
Yeah, please bring the third term.
The American First Reich?
No, he'd be too old. He'd be too old
He
for a
would
third
die like
term.
not long ago.
Yeah, that would.
Poor fucking guy, man. But, yeah, I mean, again, too, like, not to harp too much on this because I know I always take it to this level, but it's like one of the main things I think about when I'm thinking about, for instance, like, why I set my rifle up the way I set it up in the first place. Number one, Gucci. Flex on the boys. Looks sick to me. Don't care if you don't like it. Looks cool. Number two, absolutely functionality. I want that hand
You
stop where
definitely
I
did that
want
backwards.
it. Yeah. That's number one for
functional.
me. Number one for me, I'm going to flex on my boys. Yo, check my shit. I built all this. You guys suck, right? Number two, absolutely functionality. I got my trigger set the way I want because I want to shoot fast. I want to send lead your fucking way, boy. Number two, I want to light shit up in the night. You know what I mean? I want a flashlight. I want my grip to be comfortable. I like that nice meaty C-clamp where I'm fucking shoving that thing into my shoulder. What recoil? I want that fucking scope because I like to have a red dot, but I also, if you try to run, I want to reach out and touch you. So I'm going to let you get a good distance away and then hit you right in the back of the head.
And just a disclaimer, we do not
Murder people?
well, no, I would even say I don't build my rifles for any other intention than
to kill a man.
actually having to kill someone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, it might not
Let's-
even come to that, but
Let's be mature. These aren't deer rifles for people.
honestly, you're not gonna. Some people do hunt with an AR, especially.
This ain't a deer Glock.
Yeah.
Right?
But not a lot of people hunt with this. 223 is not an easy round to hunt with, especially if you're hunting deer. You got to get some wicked neck shots.
Yeah. It's possible, though.
It is. If you're a good hunter and you're a good shot man, you could do it.
I'll
But
tell
yeah.
you this. What I can't fucking stand is the FUD who's like, all you need is a 22 rifle. That's the ultimate survival rifle.
Don't listen to anyone
Shut
that's
the
over the
fuck
age
up,
of like
dude.
70 about guns, unless they like served in Nam. They probably don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
They usually don't know what the fuck
I've
they're
had
talking
guys
about.
try to sell me on 4570s instead of buying an AR15 at a gun shop because a 4570 will kill a man kill him more than
It'll
an
kill
AR-15.
him more, boy. I tell you what. Yeah, 4570. You get hit with that. Fuck.
You'll do a flip.
But yeah, but like 250 yards out,
Yeah.
your 4570 is not. I mean, it's gonna.
Well,
that's a
not to
hell of a
mention,
holdover.
It's not easy to mount optics on them. Like literally, this
He's talking about like classic like cowboy
Lever
rounds,
action,
lever
yeah.
action rifles, and those are what's considered a carbine. So the 4570, is that considered a carbine round, or is that still technically?
I don't think carbine is dictated on the round. I think it's on the gun size.
It is.
Yeah.
Because the carbine round is a pistol projectile in a longer casing.
Yeah, but they say an M4 that's 16 inches and
Carbine
lower is a
length.
carbine.
That's a good point.
It could go either way.
So then what the hell? Then I guess we just call them cowboy rounds. I
Hey.
mean, I've always heard them referred to as that, though.
like
the-
it is a cowboy round. 100%.
Like the 45 Magnum is considered a cowboy round.
45 long Colt.
Well,
It's
and there's
cowboy
yeah.
round.
Well, there's 45 long. I'm sorry, 44. Did I say 45 Magnum? I
Yeah,
apologize.
44
Magnum.
357.
357.
Which they make a lot of 357s that shoot 9mm.
45 long Colt. But does a 4570? Is there a pistol that shoots? Like, was there old revolvers that shot 4570?
I don't think so.
I think that's a exclusively rifle round.
I think the Mars leg or whatever, the short one, I don't think that was 4570. I think that was like 44 Magnum.
You're talking about the like short cut off
Yeah.
lever action, the one that they would always do with the one hand out of the saddle.
Well, there's
holster.
two. There's the Model 70 that they would do that with, which was 12 gauge. And then there's, or it might have even been 20 gauge, but I think it was 12 gauge. And then there's the it's called a Mars leg. It's like the cut down Henry. And I think that's 44 and maybe 357 too.
Yeah, that's cool. See, I want one just to have one. I want one. I don't know. I actually
do
haven't
you?
decided.
They're so
I really
expensive.
honestly do.
Ever
I want one
since
in 45 long
when
Colt.
Jurassic fucking World came out and fucking Chris Pratt had that badass 4570.
Oh, yeah.
It really
cool though.
Yeah, dude, but
So,
it,
like,
it literally doubled the prices of all. I'm not
that
even
does
kidding.
suck, yeah, because everybody's doing the tactical builds now, like
With
the tactical
with the 4570s.
Remember, I
You're
was talking to you about
fucking-
that
You're an idiot.
tactical lever actions.
You're a dickhead.
They're cool though. Again, we're not saying go get one of those, but
If you want
I
something
will-
that's going to wow people,
I
in
will
range.
say this: they're definitely going to ban, if that ever happens. They're going to ban semi-automatic rifles before they ban lever action rifles, and I could shoot a lever action a hell of a lot faster than I could a bolt action. Just saying.
Yeah.
So
They also don't make lever action 308s, though, buddy.
they make lever action 45 long Colt,
Yeah, but
and that's far enough for me,
I'd
son.
rather have a bolt action 308.
I killed a deer in North Georgia with a 44 Magnum
Did you eat his heart?
lever action. I did eat its heart
Mm.
raw. It was still beating. No, I didn't eat its fucking heart, dude. I couldn't even find it for like 2 hours. But I killed that motherfucker. Anyway, I did that with a lever action with iron sights. It was really cool. It was really fun. We were sitting in a cotton field. We had like our four-wheeler set up, and we put like these big green blankets over them, and we were just sitting in between them and kind of like peeking up and watching. And this guy came out. It wasn't even that big of a buck, but and I was like 12, but it was an awesome moment, dude. It was my first like buck kill on my own, and I did it with a lever action with iron sights, 44 Magnum, and it felt great. But I hit him like in the shoulder. I was too far up. I needed to, so he ran. He did bleed out, and I don't know. I didn't do an autopsy on the fucking deer, so I don't know if it hit what organ. But he did bleed out, but he ran a little ways, so we tracked this motherfucker for like 2 hours. Like we thought, my uncle was pissed too. He's like, God damn, we lost that fucking deer. You know what I mean? I felt like bad. And then we found him. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. So I think he still has that rack like in his house or something. Like I said he was going to keep it for me. I don't have it. I should actually talk to him about that. Like, I should have my first
You
rack.
probably should. That'd
Yeah,
be cool.
it wasn't big. He wasn't a big guy, but
Place the old Liberators.
I know,
man.
that'd
Put
be
the deer right there.
it'll never be replaced. Okay. This guy wants me to replace that. He doesn't think. Why don't you tell the audience about that, Grant? You don't like Lee Strum?
No, I thought that was cool.
You don't
That's
like the Norwegian artist Lee Strum?
This is what the Nazis were essentially using as propaganda for us. This is how they saw us. It's a Ku Klux Klan hood with black people in a prison with a Jewish banner at the crotch, giant missile, money bags, and Native Americans on top of it. Very interesting. It's kind of cool to see it from their perspective because like everything that we saw made them look real evil.
Yeah.
And
this was their attempt to make us look evil.
Which is hilarious. But
it is funny.
Yeah.
Given the context of what they knew they were doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? The Nazis.
Oh, but the Americans, they treated black
really
people
cool.
so bad.
Obviously, it's not an original. It's a print. But I think it's really cool. It is Nazi propaganda, but it is almost like
it's comical. I think it's hilarious.
Right? That like every single thing is like very symbolistic to make us look shitty. And
like
then in the bottom
most
tag,
beautiful leg on the
just
thing.
how
That's
vain
funny.
we are. Yeah, like just everything on it is like we're jailbirds. We remind us of what we did to the Native Americans. You know what I mean? But the caption actually down there says, and you can see the Statue of Liberty in the background, like he's coming from America.
Yeah.
And then these are famous European landmarks. Says the Americans will save European culture, as this American monstrosity is obviously destroying European culture.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. And then like that one behind you, that's one of my favorites. That's actually Russian, like, the old commies, but when they were part of the Allies, that's like Russian propaganda. That's a wolf sitting dead over a bank. And it's got like the swastika on its forehead, but it's obviously dead. And then like the three bayonets are the British, the English, and the Soviets.
You said British.
The British, the Americans, and the Soviets. So yeah, a lot of these are really cool, man. This was actually that's a depiction of Barone. Remember you were talking about Barone?
Yeah, that's him. Really?
That was the specific USO campaign, back the attack.
War bonds. Yeah,
and that was his slogan, back the attack.
Yeah,
and that's like actually a rough depiction of him.
He was
the airborne. He was all
badass.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, very cool.
Damn.
So yeah, a lot of cool ones, man. I mean,
you guys should check out The Fat Electrician. By the way, he has some great. I mean, I don't even know what you call it. He essentially just tells you the story of these guys.
Military history and like cool
fantastic.
stories about specific like standout guys and stuff.
It's really, really cool, dude.
Nah, he does great. And he has like a lot of he finds so many sources of old pictures and
like
stuff.
That and fucking history. Like I swear,
no one cares.
I think people would be so much more proud of this country if they just known some of the great people.
It really would, like that American pride. And that was like such a great way that they did things too. They took these legitimate war heroes and then took them out of service, obviously, because they're like, you're good. You did enough for everybody, right? And they had them go and talk to people and be like, look, I was there.
He ended up going back and dying.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Barone. That's right. Or is it Barone or Baroni?
Baroni.
Baroni.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe that's how they say it in America. Like
Band of Brothers,
American
he was depicted
version.
in, right? Or the Pacific.
The Pacific,
yeah.
yeah.
But that was the same spinoff.
Yeah, he
Pacific.
got smoked on like the first assault that he led back in Japan again. He went back to Japan again as a U.S. Marine.
Badass. After seeing that utter fucking chaos. And I'll say this much about the Pacific. I would have much rathered, not that any was great, but I would have much rather been a part of the European campaign than the Pacific campaign.
Yeah.
That was pure fucking hell.
Terrible.
You're fighting an enemy that they still believed in the Bushido code, which was the code of the samurai, which there's no such thing as surrender.
Dog,
there's no giving up.
The women and children were jumping off the cliffs
because they were told we were going to rape them and like
behead them and torture them.
Yeah.
Like it was really, really bad. Propaganda is very bad, and honestly,
it's effective.
I kind of want to talk a little bit about the RFK deal before we go, but I don't know if we really talked about the brands. If you're a first-time guy, I'll just dumb this down. Palmetto State is great. Aero Precision is great. BCM is great. It's a little bit more upper in the price range. You can probably get most of their guns for like $1,000.
Full builds for $1,000.
Yeah, full builds for $1,000. Daniel Defense is like as high as I tell anyone to go. That's as crazy nice as you need to get. And
it is nice though.
really, the only difference is, man, their rifles are all a little bit lighter, and their barrels are really, really good. They last a long, long time.
Honestly, like I'm telling you right now, the most common, at least upper and bolt that I see, like military guys, like dudes that actually always a BCM.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it is. Military dudes have a hard on for BCM. And
well, it's owned by vets.
That's all. Well, maybe that's part of it, but I mean, like they genuinely like. I would fucking bet my life on this rifle.
Yeah, they're great.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's pretty good. Fucking.
I'd say aim for
advertisement
BCM
for 'em.
Or this BCM upper that I bought was $500. Came with a bolt too. They were actually running a sale where it came with the bolt for free.
Yeah,
and I did
again,
that.
You want the bolt to be made of good, strong material.
Yep.
Like. Even if you don't get a BCM upper, consider just getting the BCM bolt.
I can't remember what the material is. To be honest with you, I just know it's
probably top notch.
It probably is.
Yeah.
It's just a phosphate finish, though. Yeah. All their shit is. I don't want to be wrong and say they're cold hammer forged barrels, which is just a different process. It's supposed to make barrels more dense. I do think they're buttoned, but I might be wrong.
Explain what that means, buttoned.
So the button barrels, it's just a process where they essentially, they splice the barrels. So they're almost like, it's almost like welded.
Like they have a seam?
Yes, almost like a seam. I don't think it's detectable. They're all, MPI, magnetic particle inspected.
Yep.
Make sure all the tolerances.
I'm so glad you just said that.
Yeah. Everything you buy needs to be fucking magnetically particle inspected.
Your upper, your bolt, and your barrel need to be magnetic particle inspected.
Or you know what? It's not welded. It's pressed. I'm sorry. It's pressed. That's what it is. It's like a
so
serious.
Does that have a seam?
I think it does.
I don't know.
But I think it's compressed to the point where it literally does not. Like that, and I think they also do it while it's being heated. Hammer forged is similar, except it's never opened. It's just a tube that they literally just beat the shit out of,
and then
they hollow it out and they beat the shit out of the exterior until it condenses down.
Yep.
So like a cold hammer forged barrel is probably like 10 to 20% heavier than a normal.
It's heavy, but it's strong.
Barrel.
It can handle a shit ton of abuse, which is what you're looking for. Seriously, I mean, really. Dig down deep. Think about what you're getting the rifle for. Like I say, all these crazy scenarios that could happen, but you might be stuck with it. There's not going to be an opportunity. There might be a time that there's not an opportunity to be like, oh, shit, I better swap out this cheap barrel that I've been hanging out with. You're done. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? So, like, you buy once, cry once. Well, right, but like you buy once, you cry once, you get the good shit, you leave it, and then you whatever, upgrade as you go. But I am really glad you said that about that. I completely forgot.
Yeah, everything
that
you
is.
Need to buy.
It will say it in the description when you're looking at parts MPI, or it'll spell it out magnetic particle inspected. But yes.
And I can tell you right now, if Bear Creek Arsenal is claiming that they do that, I would be surprised if they do.
That's probably why they're in trouble then.
Yeah, Palmetto State will. They're fantastic. They really are. They're the Walmart of guns.
Kind of, yeah.
I
just
mean, they have
minus
everything.
The cheap Chinese products.
Yeah, and they're very
it's all USA made right here.
Yeah, they're made in the US.
They do their own manufacturing for their own parts. Obviously, they sell other people's parts on their website, but like all of
if you buy a Palmetto State gun, it's all Palmetto State.
It's all Palmetto State Armory, and it's all
brand.
manufactured in South Carolina. Like, there's so much about them now, though. It's like, when they first came out, people would talk shit. Oh, it's cheap. It's obviously shitty, whatever. And they did have issues with some of their first lines and stuff, but they've like made such an effort to be a legitimate contender.
I think
to the fact that one of the most popular builds I see when dudes are talking about like, and again, when you watch one of these military guys, they don't show you budget builds. They show you value builds, right? They don't really care about the overall price, but they'll show you where you can save money. Almost all of those guys run Palmetto State lowers.
Most of them, yeah.
Like it's the most popular build I see is a
some
Palmetto
people are-
State lower with a BCM upper and BCM bolt.
Some people are snobbier, and they tell you that they don't trust Palmetto State for whatever reason to produce a lower, which is stupid.
I don't know how you can fuck it up.
I mean,
dude, you can 3D print a lower.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah,
fine.
and it'll work. Yeah,
It'll work. That's if you've ever heard the term ghost gun, that's all it is the lower is 3D printed.
yeah.
And so they don't.
Then you trim out the rest.
Right. It's not like manufactured by like a credited person.
Or what's it? It's not
so they
Dremel.
don't
What is it called? I can't even remember.
CNC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mill
like a
out.
machine.
They mill it
mill.
out. It's a milling machine.
But yeah, I mean, it's essentially. I mean, but dude, like polymer, like you could realistically.
they break on ARs.
But I'm just saying,
yeah,
you could realistically use a polymer lower
Yeah.
and be okay
Yeah, you'd
for
be
like
fine.
a
Just
long
don't
time.
Drop it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's like, but I'm saying you said don't drop it, but it's like, it's not really getting any more abuse than that while you're shooting it. Again, that explosion is contained by the bolt. Does it come out a little bit? Yeah, but I mean, think about it. If that explosion were coming through your lower that hard, it'd be blowing your mag out.
No, buddy, that's not what I'm talking about. I just that part of it's absolutely that's not the issue. They do break. I've watched so many videos on that
From just shooting repetitively, or
no, just
dropping
it.
Yeah.
Like literally,
that's the only
the
point I'm
guys would
making.
drop it like 10 feet, and they'd have some break. It's something with because if you actually look at your receiver, it's very thin.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can just thicken up the polymer and be like, oh, now it's cool because you'll throw off the fucking specs.
The specs won't be right. Yeah.
So
True.
it's a hard thing to do with the AR platform. I don't recommend it. Just buy the fucking 775 or 776 aluminum.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Again,
it's not going to go anywhere.
Palmetto State, you can get one on there for $50 or less.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. You don't need to spend any more money on it.
I just recommend people
Yeah.
just buy it.
Buy the whole rifle.
If you're not big into this, maybe you just want one, but you don't give a shit what it looks like. You just want it to work. Just buy a fucking Palmetto State. If you have a little bit more money and you like just want to be 100% certain and feel better, like dude, I get it. That's why I bought 3 suppressors in the last 2 months. Yeah. Because I'm a fucking retard. Just buy a fucking BCM or buy a fucking. I would say Aero Precision's right there. It blows my mind. Like you're gonna see so many negative reviews, man. Unless you see video evidence.
I think it's honestly just price point. Again, it's the same thing with Palmetto. They can't prove that it sucks. They just say, well, it's less than BCM or Daniel Defense, so it
guys,
must
they
suck.
can't sell you a good product for cheap. It's like, yeah, dude, you have been brainwashed by consumerism. Like,
for real.
That's the truth.
It doesn't take that much to get a reliable.
Well, even
solid
like
build.
when you said the Black Aces one, I was like, okay, but like, is it really full auto rated? No, I saw some videos.
It
guys
is.
fucking ripping through those. Those things are pretty safe.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's like, I'm sure the materials are cheaper. I'm sure it's not going to be anywhere near the level of like, again, quality, which doesn't always transfer over. It's like, yes, the lower that you're buying is a better quality than the whatever, right? Like the BCM lower is definitely a better quality than the Palmetto State lower.
Well, probably,
but you don't. That difference in quality doesn't necessarily transfer.
It might be more scuff resistant. So they anodize the upper and lower receivers, is what gives it the black, coating. The anodizing might be the only thing you really see a difference in. You might You might make more scratches on a Palmetto State than a BCM.
Yeah.
Does that matter? No, it doesn't affect functionality at all.
No.
So who gives a fuck? I would rock a fucking all unanodized one. If it didn't rust, I think that'd be sweet, which they are aluminum. So really, that you probably could get like an unfinished one. That'd be a pretty cool build.
Yeah.
Real scuffed rifle.
I think they look good. It looks used. It looks like I love when they do the paint and then like it gets a little scuffed.
What do they call that? Battle
worn.
Yeah. Those look cool. I like those.
Yeah, it looks good. Like it's I don't know. It's cool, right? You're kind of LARPing
cheesy,
a little bit.
I think it's cool.
It's like don't do it on purpose, but like and you get out there and use your shit, you earn those scuffs, you earn those scratches. It looks cool. You know what I mean? And like you should be. That's probably one of the hard things in Florida, at least for this area, is like where to tell people to go actually train. You can go at the range. 90% of the people there are sitting down on a bench with like bags and like
you're not doing
like that's
reload.
good to zero your rifle
And if you are doing reload drills near other people, they're gonna freak the fuck out.
Yeah, they
don't
get
like
weird.
You seeing,
Yeah,
they
I don't
seeing
like
you move
it
fast.
We're gonna actively start to try and
We just need to
figure
find someone
something
with
out.
land.
I really do. And worst case, I really do think Punta Gorda Gun Club. We're gonna check it out. I'm gonna look into it because I think that they do have not necessarily a shoot house, but they have more of an open range.
There's one in
with,
Sarasota.
like a star and stuff.
There's
and, like,
one in
shit that
Sarasota.
you
You can pay like $2,000 for a lifetime membership, and it's everything: tactical, long distance. That's
But
a
they
lot of
have,
fucking
like-
money, bro. $2,000. That's a lot.
But
man.
like the value that you get out of actually being able to kind of like run and gun and move around and lean.
It is. It's huge. It's
posts and stuff.
You can't put a price on that.
Yeah. Training, I'd say, is another big thing, too. It's like I want to do a class, like, really bad. I'm going to start looking into that, too. Like, just a basics,
I don't think the
like-
most expensive thing is the ammo because you're going to shoot a couple hundred rounds at
Yeah,
least.
yeah. You got to make sure. They'll always tell you, like, how much ammo to bring and what you're going to need for the class.
I really
but
want to do.
no one's going to judge you either. Like, you could go out there with a bone stock fucking
Yeah,
iron sights.
You're out there like
Those
everybody
dudes are
else to
super
get better.
cool.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like going to the gym. Like, I hate when people are like, "Oh, I'm out of shape now. I don't want people to see me doing fucking lightweight." It's like, bro, who the fuck is making fun of people at the gym? Like, you're at the gym to get in shape. So is that guy. Like, no one's gonna give you a hard time. Like, you guys obviously are on the same level, in that aspect as far as you want to better yourself. No one's gonna give you shit.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to the range and someone tries to fuck with you about having Palmetto State,
Honestly, range, I think, is more so where you come across the douchebags.
Yeah,
because they're like
absolutely.
the less serious. You know what I mean? Like the
they're-
less serious guys are only going to a range and sitting down and just like shooting their already zeroed rifles and like bragging about the tight groups that they can get. But like even just standing up, they're all over the place. You know what I mean? It's like there's guys who are less serious about it. They're more just about the hobby of like, I've got the top of the line rifle and it shoots fucking sub MOA and that's all I need. You know what I mean? But you're never going to be situation where you get to sit at a nice comfortable bench and set up some sandbags and just take your time. It's not
and then take your time
gonna
with your
ever be that
follow-up
way.
shots too.
Yeah.
If
It's
you're
not ever going to
shooting-
be that way.
If you're shooting one round, per fucking 3 seconds, like that's not. You're not training anything.
No,
man.
you're
Like,
going to be
you-
all over the place.
Yeah.
You're going to be shocked. You're going to be rattled.
multiple targets
To try and put
fire at.
yourself in that situation as much as you can is good. I mean, I remember I would specifically, like, on a rainy day, I would go just to see what the differences
Shooting in the
were.
rain?
Yeah, and I almost never sit down at the range. I mean, again, you can't kneel, and, like, occasionally I'll try to, like, just lean, like, on the post, but they always will say something about that. So it's like, I don't know. It
if
is
I
a rough
shot
situation.
sitting, I'd shot just from like I put a backpack down just to kind of get because
That
where
feel.
the fuck do you shoot prone?
I
Like
know.
you can't find anywhere that lets you lay down and fucking shoot.
Well, the 200, 250 yard they used to. Like, there was a dude who came, he had a whole mat, and he had, like, 2 suppressed M700s, like, bolt actions that he was fucking with, and they let him put fruit out there. He put, like, watermelons and cantaloupes and, like, bottles full of water,
Who
like, all sorts of
gives-
shit.
who gives
I
a
don't think
fuck?
they do that anymore, but they used to because you used to have to be qualified for that range. So it was only, like, there was only ever, like, 2 old guys
Also-
with bolt action rifles out there. But anyway,
One more
bogging it
thing
down with that.
before I forget.
Mm-hmm.
Also, do not buy an AR pistol for your first AR.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. Buy a 16-inch fucking just regular, or
Yeah.
if you really want to be fancy, get a 14.5 with a pin and welded fucking flash hider.
Something. His point is, if you get a pistol, it means it's shorter than the legal length. So from the beginning of the barrel to the end of the barrel, whether that has something on it or not, needs to be 16 inches. So
For it to be
sometimes,
considered a rifle.
So sometimes they'll sell a 14.5 inch, knowing that the thing on the end of the barrel is an infinite inch and a half. But if you do that, the thing on the end of the barrel has to be what they call pinned or welded, or pinned and welded.
Has to be permanently fixed.
And it
the
has to be
barrel.
permanently fixed where you can't take that attachment off. So that might limit you in some aspects. I would honestly recommend going with a 16-inch. That way, if you do decide to suppress it, you can change out whatever. Help me out here. I'm brain farting. attachment you have on the barrel.
Flash hider,
flash hider,
device.
muzzle, whatever, to like fit the suppressor that you buy, or maybe it's a direct thread suppressor, meaning it just goes directly on the end of the barrel. I would do that so you don't limit yourself at first. If you eventually get to a point where you're a little bit more advanced and you know what you're doing and you know what you want, get that pin and welded barrel. You know, it's a little bit shorter. It saves you a little bit of length, especially if you're going to suppress, because it's going to be that much longer.
There are adapters for A2 now for the suppressors.
Awesome. Yeah,
they latch right onto the A2s.
There's stuff that you can do, definitely, but I would recommend your absolute very, very first build. Just get the 16-inch, and then that way you don't have to worry about, because if it is shorter, you can't put a regular stock on it. You have to put what's called a pistol brace. In a lot of situations, they're fine, but they're less comfortable. It's less versatile.
Well, you also used to not be able to shoulder them, so you'd have to hold the gun like fucking this and shoot an AR, with one hand.
Still,
it's
like
dumb.
A loophole, basically. Like if you shoulder it, I don't know if you can get in trouble for it necessarily, but it's
not anymore. They got rid of it.
Okay, it's still like something they don't want you to do. So I would just go 16-inch. Yeah, it's a little long, but at that point, it's like that way by the time you're ready for a shorter barrel or 14.5 or a 13 or even 11 or 12, like I don't know what different variances they have, but you're going to know it by then. By the time you're going to know what you're looking for, you're going to know what you want, you're going to know what kind of suppressor is going to go on it, you're going to know for the total length. Just play it safe, get the 16. And another thing I didn't harp on is the optic. I think it's actually like really important what optic you pick.
Oh, it is.
Again, go iron sights at first if you want to, but I wouldn't stay iron sights. I would get a reliable, good optic. Don't get tricked.
I recommend training with irons, though. You need to be able to shoot iron sights.
You need to be able to shoot irons, but I feel like it's so intuitive. I don't know if there's anybody, like especially like the M-Bus, like flip-up ones. Yeah, it's like so it's a hole and a stick. But you know what I mean? It's targets at the top of the stick.
You got to get used to the cheek weld that it requires. You got to get used to...
That's definitely lower.
Because you are limited. You have limited visibility shooting out irons. I mean, you really do.
For sure, you're squinting. You can't open sight. Like there's different types of ways to aim weapons too. There's like squinting, or I at least call it squinting, where you have to close one eye and like fix your eye focus on that front post and kind of blur out the back post. And it's like a whole way to do it. But with a lot of different higher quality optics, you can keep both eyes open. Yeah, I definitely say, again, you're setting up your first rifle. You're setting it up for the long term. Even if you're buying a cheap rifle to start with and you're adding things to it as you go along, knowing what you want, the optic is something. Don't get a cheap, shitty optic. Just spend the money. Right. Know what you want. So if you want a red dot, specifically only a red dot, get the good red dot. Go with the Neotech or whatever. The HoloSuns make a lot of good, high quality. Really tested the shit out of them. Like beat the hell out of them.
Shot them with a shotgun on Alabama Arsenal.
Right. Vortex is a great brand. Again, stay away from the cheap Vortex ones. I get it, but they're like the Chinese made. They have a lesser quality glass. Who knows how durable that's going to be? Again, if your glass breaks, you're fucked. Like that's it. You know what I mean?
That's why you have irons.
That's why you have backup irons. But if you get something that's really fucking durable, it's going to be really fucking hard to break it. You know what I mean? It's going to be a very specific situation that breaks it and, whatever. But again, I recommend LPVOs, low power variable optics. They're kind of a do-all. Again, you got the longer range, you got the short range. You're taken care of on all of it. If you want a red dot, maybe you'll bump up to a magnifier. You can put like a magnifying glass basically like behind the red dot. That'll give you that magnification. But I'll tell you, it's very rare to see any kind of like, again, you hit up YouTube, go with the guys that are like ex-military guys. It's very rare to see those guys run something that has no magnification whatsoever. I mean, if they're doing like a specific thing, sure. But 9 times out of 10, those guys have something, either a magnifier or like an ACOG, like a fixed, like the difference with this is like this is a fixed magnification. I think it's 4 times.
This is a 4X.
3.5, 4X. So yeah, so like that's fixed at 4 times, right? And so a lot of guys will train with that, or like the variable, like again. Don't cheap out on the optic. I don't think that's a good idea. There's no reason to. Know what you want. I say get something that has at least the capability to be magnified eventually, right? Which, again, is almost anything. Stay away from aim point. I think it's a fucking gimmick. I can't understand how a red dot is $900.
They are great. They are.
They're built like tanks, but again, it's still just your basic reflex.
Listen,
Red
but they're also, you do have to remember, they are also battle tested. That's part of the thing that I do hate. Like, I mean, even this Trijicon, this thing was fucking $1,100. I didn't really necessarily, I've always wanted one, but I didn't really necessarily want to drop that much money on a fixed zoom fucking, essentially a red crosshair. I mean, that's what I have. They have different reticles, but that's what I got. So, but it's this thing's fucking literally bomb-proof. They say, when the nuclear holocaust happens,
those will be the only ones
there's
that
going to
work.
be nothing left but ACOGs and cockroaches.
Yeah.
But it depends, man. I wouldn't recommend it for a first-timer. I would tell you to go. I am not a fan of EOTechs. I think the holographic reticle that they use is fucking enormous. I had one, had a 512. It was good. I liked it. I shot well with it, but it was just big. I actually ended up selling it to a friend. I would start off, like you said, something like Hollow Sun. I have 3 Hollow Sun red dots. They're pretty great. Glass is good. They don't fog. I like them. They hold 0.
Yeah. No, the Hollow Suns are great. They've got a lot of cool designs. Again, too, the bigger window.
They are Chinese made
open
too.
designs. They are. And then people will shit on it.
Made.
People will shit on it because of that. But there are, there's differences in qualities. I've always really loved the Huey, the Vortex Huey. I'm talking about the big square one. It's like that tall.
Yeah, it's holographic.
Sits up a little bit. Yeah, I love those things. The reticle on there too looks great. Super crisp.
Primary
and then you can
Arms is another one.
Primary
too.
Arms.
They make great red dots.
You.
Yeah,
that's actually a great brand.
That's
to start
actually
with.
who I would tell. Yeah, get a Primary Arms
because they are super affordable. They're American made, and people beat the shit.
Are they?
out.
You sure about that?
I'm like 99% sure they're American made. Yeah, it's like I hear it all the time when people talk about Primary Arms. Look into it. But I'm 99% sure they're made in America. At least most of their products. Maybe they have some stuff that's like outsourced a little bit.
Maybe
or
I can't remember. Whatever.
But I know that they make LPVOs. They make magnifiers for red dots, different kind of holographics, and and there's a difference between a red dot and a holographic, or at least for me there is. I don't know. I consider a red dot a reflex sight. It's just like the mirrors or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's your holographic, which is actual like image that's like projected up into 2 different panes of glass.
You get that
right?
that parallax shift.
Right, exactly. Which again, I just saying another reason why I like etched reticles.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Etched reticles are
etched reticle.
Yeah,
that one is constantly illuminated because of the fucking tritium in the top, but that one needs batteries to be illuminated, which is a disadvantage, which is where like you're good. No batteries, no nothing, you're good to go.
After,
you know
10 years, that shit dulls out real quick.
10 fucking years, though. If they haven't killed you in 10 years, they're not gonna.
Supposedly you can get them recharged, but I guess it's like never the same. I don't know.
Either way, though, this is a very cool design. I have no idea. I mean, they must have the patent or something because I have no idea why everybody isn't using
I think it is going out soon.
This is like depleted uranium, right? Yeah, so it's radioactive.
It is.
It does emit irradiation, but
I
very,
sleep
very, very
with it
little.
right next to my head too.
Yeah, I mean, dude, there's no way that's putting out more than your cell phone.
No.
But that right there, basically, like glow in the dark, gets charged up by sunlight. And it constantly glows. It constantly is lit up with no batteries, no power to it, no.
Don't buy a site mark, please.
Yeah,
don't buy.
Stay away from the cheap Amazon shit. That's all we're saying. Don't get the Sig Romeos. I consider them cheap Amazon swill. The Vortex Crossfire.
Dude, I got a lot of gripes about Sig.
Can't tell me how many fucking Crossfires I see, and it's
don't buy a Sig AR. Buy a Daniel Defense if you're gonna buy a Sig AR. They're the same fucking price.
Buy a Sig rifle. Get the spear. Don't be a pussy.
Yeah, drop $3,000 on a spear.
Yeah. That'd be sick though.
It would be cool.
That's the future.
That's
6.5.
the one. I'll give them that. That their piston driven shit is great. But their regular ARs don't fucking buy them.
Yeah, they're gimmicky. They're just gimmicky.
Very
they're gimmicky.
overpriced.
Again, you're overpriced for the same fucking thing that's sitting on this table, and you don't. It doesn't have the name behind.
Don't buy Springfield either.
Sig's
just buy BCM.
Relatively new to the rifle game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like they need to put in their paces. These guys have proven themselves. Arrow's proven themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's like they've been around a long time. time, but beat the
I
shit
try
out
to
of
explain this to people. Like, good AR companies last.
Yeah, they don't go anywhere. And Arrow's been around forever. BCM
The other
was like
ones,
some of the first
I guess
ARs
the
ever
only reason
made.
Bear Creek Arsenal's still around is because people just love buying $200
They're
ARs.
cheap, yeah.
But that's the way too low. And then, man, if you're struggling for cash, buy a lower for, like you said, man, 50 to like 80 for a completed one on like the good Blim sales on Palmetto State.
Yeah,
Then
wait for a good sale.
Save up for another 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Buy a fucking
Take your time.
Buy a Palmetto State upper for another 100, 150, 100, $200.
It's better to get started too. Like just pull the trigger, buy the lower. That's the only thing.
That needs to go through the gun store.
Yeah, that's the only thing you'll have to take a background check on. So it'll get shipped to the gun store. You'll have to go.
You will pay a transfer fee. So that's like anywhere from $20 to $35.
And don't pay anybody more than $30. Don't do it. If they ask for 50, 60, tell them to fuck off, walk out of the store, find another pawn shop down the road that'll do it. Don't do that. Don't pay more than 30. I won't. At this point, I'm spoiled by Woody's. I won't pay more than $15. So you know what I mean? Not doing that. Is he still doing 15 or 20? Is the inflation gotten to him?
I do Army Navy. They charge me like 30.
That's not bad. I'll go to Woody's though.
It's
Woody's
not,
Pond, man.
Because J&J is like $40, $50.
It's
Like,
ridiculous.
dude, what? Like,
they used to be
guys,
more. They used to be 65. I remember that. And
I
was like, I laughed. I was like, oh yeah, right. For what?
To sign,
Are you kidding me,
the
dude?
FedEx paperwork.
To fucking sign a piece of paper.
Fuck you.
65. Your time's worth that much money.
I think the 30.
Holy shit.
I think the 30 from Army Navy, 10 of it is for the background check.
Army, Navy, and boot.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So 10 of that is for the background check, and the extra, so it's really 20 for the FFL.
Yeah, literally, Woody would charge you $5 for his time, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was cool because I lived right there. Now it's a little bit out of the way, but either way. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know. And put a sling on it. You know, don't kid yourself. You need a sling.
You need a sling.
Yeah.
If you were ever in a scenario where you're walking around with your rifle, you don't want to have it fucking death gripping it the whole time.
Especially mine. Mine's fucking heavy.
It's pretty fucking heavy.
Well, that's why I've talked about eventually upgrading the glass, you know. It's like getting something
lighter.
lighter, yeah. And I've always liked
That's the other thing too, man. A lot of the reasons why some good work and function and shit is so cheap is because it's just heavy as fuck, which doesn't make sense. But really what they're charging you for on a lot of these products is the time it takes to make them. Yeah. So for them to go through and shave all these pieces down and cut this,
the machining
and cut that,
and shit,
all the machining, that's where you end up paying all the money.
It's a very good point, dude. Yeah. That is a very good point. People get hung up on you're paying for the name. Yeah, I mean, but you're also paying for the they do a lot more testing and like inspection and quality checking and stuff like that. And like you said, their machines are a lot higher quality. And so, yeah, their machining, I guess I should say. Doesn't it sound like somebody's sitting in my driveway?
No, I
swear to God, I feel like I hear a car.
That's a plane.
Is it? Oh, God, I hope it doesn't crash into a helicopter. Yeah.
Did you see the other one?
The one in Pennsylvania just fucking nosedived into the ground.
Well, hold on, because there's actually been 3 in the last week.
Yeah.
Was that the one that was the Mexican?
Watch my photos back there, boy.
The Mexican trans one.
Yeah, the Mexican
that had
one.
fucking supposedly had a bunch of cancer kid patients on it. It just plummeted in the ground. No, so I actually read into that. They already released it. So
it was an accident.
No, this was this was like a 1980s plane that hasn't been serviced in like 10 years.
Holy fucking shit!
Because Mexico.
What's the cancer kids
with
on
cancer kids on it?
That's
guess they're not
up.
that
that's
precious
so
cargo. So
yeah, well,
that's fucking terrible.
If
dude.
the plane didn't get them, but I mean, I don't know. It's just sketchy, the timing. Yeah, maybe that one was an accident, but I don't buy that shit.
Well, literally, when I saw the other
DC
two
shit at all, bro.
When I saw the other two, I was like, okay, like so, China or Russia or someone has learned how to hack into our air whatever towers and is fucking with shit to cause planes to go down or cause crashes.
Maybe
that's what I was originally thinking. But after they released that shit with
that it was just an accident.
Yeah, that one was just. I was like, okay, maybe that was just an isolated incident then. And
anyway, you cut it. I don't buy the DC shit.
I'm
sure more will come out about it, but We've lived too long. We've
Well, it's
seen
also-
too many of
it's
these
not-
sketchy
it's
things that
not
always
easy.
have like weird.
It's not easy to crash a helicopter or
Not
crash
at
a plane
all.
into a hell. I mean,
You
literally
almost have to try.
Yeah.
Well, again, this is the way I was saying this to my brother-in-law earlier, but like you have to think about this like logically. Like if this happened in fucking Cleveland, maybe. You're talking about the most secure and monitored
Securo.
airspace in the entire world. Washington D.C.
Yeah.
There is not another place in
They
the entire
have, like,
world that
actual-
is more monitored and heavily guarded and like
Yeah, they have like actual military presence, I think, in the airport.
all times.
Yeah.
There's literally planes on fucking standby 24 hours a day ready to be launched within a minute and a half
to
response
fucking blow
time
something up.
to handle any kind of air threat. Like it is heavily monitored. There's radar that covers every inch of that fucking city. You're not going to tell me that a military aircraft accidentally ran into a passenger plane. It didn't happen on accident. I don't know what happened. I don't know if something nefarious was behind it, like you said, where they scrambled their fucking communications or something. Could be, but somebody needed to die,
even then,
and
a
unfortunately, a lot
pilot-
of other people had to fucking die in the process. But I'm not buying it. I smell conspiracy all the fucking
I
way.
feel like a pilot on either side of that would be able to see what was going to happen based on radar and stuff like that. But maybe I'm wrong.
or
My
like
pilot buddy said
the
that
18
that's like
different fucking air traffic controllers that were probably watching the two things on their radar, going, "Oh my god, you're gonna hit that fucking plane."
well that, but like
Right?
my buddy who was a pilot, he's like that would never happen. That would never happen.
Saying. It just there's no way. Again, he's saying that would never happen at fucking Fort Myers International Airport. It definitely wouldn't fucking happen in
Washington,
goddamn
D.C.
Washington D.C.
Yeah, I
like
agree.
I'm just saying, it's the most heavily monitored airspace in the entire world.
Yeah.
Like you're not. It's why we all know that the fucking thing that hit the Pentagon wasn't a plane, because everybody would know. They would have shot it down
Well,
way
also
before
they
that.
did find
The only plane that
perfectly
probably
intact
almost
plane
got close
parts.
to hitting anything. Yeah, perfectly intact plane parts. Exactly.
There's a whole wing
The
in
only
the West
thing that
Wing.
probably got close to anything important that they were actually worried about was the fucking one in Pennsylvania that apparently exploded before it hit the ground.
It was an old school pressurized like air chamber, like one of the ones that like actually had exploding issues. Like the cabin could literally just explode.
It exploded on accident.
No, I think the sudden loss of pressure caused something to fucking burst, and if you get a spark,
You're talking about the one in. Wait, I'm talking about 9/11.
the one in Pennsylvania. Oh, you're talking about the one in 9/11. I'm sorry,
The
I
one
thought
in
you were talking about.
Pennsylvania in 9/11.
Well, but the one that crashed was also in Pennsylvania, right? The Mexican
Right. Well, they
Amtrans.
said it. Yes.
Okay.
That was like in Philly. Like it crashed.
Yeah, did
in
you see the
Philadelphia.
video?
Yeah, the guy.
That's fucking
The
crazy.
one opening the door.
Yeah.
Like it's like it looked like he just got home from work or
Yeah.
something. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And this fucking holy fucking shit or whatever he says. He's like, "Holy shit!" Like that would be wild. You just get in the. Hey Frank, how you doing, baby? You know, holy fucking, just a fireball behind you. Yeah, I'm not buying it. I mean, maybe that one, but I'm saying all the bullshit. Look how many moves are being made. You know what I mean? People are dying right now. Like, you know? And that Mexican shit, who fucking knows? I'm just saying, who knows? There's a lot of... you're going to see a lot of shady shit going
You're
on
gonna
with
find
Mexico
out
here in a
that
minute.
that plane landed directly on some sort of U.S. senator's house.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck, man?
He was going to testify.
He was going to testify against the Biden administration.
Could have shot him. Fuck that. We ran a plane into his house.
A plane full of cancer patient kids, dude, right into the house.
If that doesn't prove a point, I don't know what will.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Can't have those kids getting cured of cancer. Ridiculous.
Fucking terrible, dude.
Yeah, it is pretty shitty. It is pretty shitty.
I thought it was like fake when I read that. I was like, okay, like
Plane
guys,
full of cancer kids. Just
that,
dropped out of the
that
sky.
doesn't even sound
Yeah.
realistic. No, apparently that's a real thing. They like fly them to the U.S. to get treated, and then fly them back.
Jeez, man.
And those kids just got
It's so
smoked.
terrible.
It's just so bad.
I don't know. I mean, I did hear that the lady president down there in Mexico, was saying she was going to reject immigrant flights back, like deportation flights. And then Trump said, "Well, maybe we'll deflect some of your flights."
No, I don't think that's what he said. I think he was saying that they will find other ways to get them back other than flights. Which is where I got the idea of catapult.
Just catapult.
Put him in one of those squirrel suits and just fucking launch him.
All right, boys, load up. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the guy that's going to be like the director of like ICE and like Homeland Security or whatever, like for all the
Dr. Phil?
Yeah, you've seen him. Like he actually reminds me more of I don't know if you ever saw the show
Did you
Breaking
see the
Bad?
backlash that Dr. Phil got for doing like an
Interview with that guy?
interview with him?
Yeah.
He's helping the poor people. It's like, you guys are fucking retarded.
Why? I don't understand why they're mad at people. It's like you gave him a platform. It's what I do. I interview people. You know what I mean? It's like the whole Joe Rogan thing. They got so mad at him. How could he not have? How could he not have eventually?
He tried. He tried to get Kamala. That was the thing that threw me.
He tried to get Kamala before Trump. But like even at that, it's like how many liberal people has he had on his show over the years? Does it even fucking compare to the amount of conservative, like hardcore conservatives that have been on his show? Like shut the fuck up. If anything, Joe's still more liberal leaning than I would even consider myself to be. He's not like a shining beacon of conservatism.
I really think he's
getting there, but he's not
his
there.
His main thing
like,
is universal health care and some sort of aid from the government for people that live in poverty.
No, he's
or
still
even
like,
really just everybody. I think he does believe in a
likes
little bit
light
of socialism.
Yeah, light socialism,
and
playful socialism.
I think everybody does to an extent. You know, it would be. Let's be honest here, man. If the
But
government
I understand the reality of how things work. It's like you said about the fucking income tax. Okay, well, what's the catch, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going to give us our income tax, but does that mean we're going to get taxed more on something else to make up the difference?
Well,
like,
supposedly,
it's never
supposedly that's what the tariffs are being set for,
right? But I mean,
for them to do tax cuts on things in the U.S. and make other countries pay for it because they should be
to make up for the money that they lose on the tax returns
on fucking everything.
We do, yeah. But I mean more specifically, just the mindset of like,
oh, everything's going to be better.
Catch?
They're giving me, there's always a catch. Always a catch.
That's how us conservatives have always been about stuff is because we understand
there shouldn't be a catch. There's such a surplus.
A company's not just going to be willing to lose money to do the right thing.
But also at the same time, with the government,
they don't care.
There's such a surplus of money, dude. There's no reason why there should be a no catch. We should just divert money from something that we don't need.
I know, but again, you tell somebody that they're going to get less money, right? It just doesn't work that way. Nothing ever goes down. It levels out, but it never goes down.
But that's also some of what the things that they're talking about doing is cutting back funding on the CIA and the FBI. Where should that money go? Well, it should go back to the fucking people.
Yeah.
You know, don't find some other fucking bullshit department to fucking plug money into.
That's what they always do.
You need to take money away from them, give it back to the people. Do something. Our fucking roads in Charlotte County are fucking dookie. You know, what the fuck am I paying my taxes for?
In this county, yeah.
It's fucking
Well, that's
bullshit.
what specifically I think property tax go to is the local government.
But they're doing a terrible job. So
is
where are they
wild to
spending
me.
that money? Oh,
and property tax has only gone up for everyone.
they're spending it on
how is it like
20
shittier?
They're spending on a $20 million new town hall. That's what they want to spend your money on.
Yeah. Well, Lord knows we need one because there's so many
$20 million.
so many people that are going in and out of town hall as it is.
$20 million.
It's fucking ridiculous. Like really, it is. I don't ever. I'm a grown adult man. I've never had a reason to go to City Hall.
I've never.
Ever,
I think
not
I
once.
went one time to vote.
You got to go to the courthouse for like the taxpayer or the what is it the like the county assessor.
Well,
the
courthouses are also so
like
big.
your marriage license and shit. Like
courthouses are
DMV
are so large that I feel like you have to drop fat money on them just so they look nice.
Sure.
And ours is beautiful.
Yeah, it's great.
But a town hall is going to be like tucked away in downtown
I don't even understand.
somewhere.
Yeah, I don't even understand why they need a new one. What's wrong with that one?
It's
just flooded too many times. I don't like
the
it.
first floor flooded. They don't want to renovate it.
It's flooded like 8 times.
Yeah, they don't want to renovate it to flood it again. But
Yeah.
it's like, dude, I'd rather renovate it for $300-400 grand than spend $20 million on a fucking city as small as ours.
Yeah, for a building for you
I know
guys
this is
to
very
sit
niche, but like I don't know,
Yeah.
it just blows my mind.
I feel like most people that watch this are
from
familiar with
Yeah.
Funny. We're still pretty small here. We're a small operation.
Very small.
Hopefully, this one reaches out to some people. That'd be pretty cool. You know,
Yeah.
get some gun guys in here and stuff. I mean, it's a pretty it's a topic. I don't think
All
we've
right.
had one podcast that we've gone without.
Last
talking about.
thing before the fucking battery dies.
Yeah, let's.
What Who do you recommend for people to watch on YouTube for gun stuff?
Gun tubers?
Yes.
All right, so like from the bottom of my heart, I know he's got some controversy.
Who gives a fuck? I know you're gonna do this.
Flannel Daddy, fucking
Grand Thumb.
Grand Thumb is definitely one of the best. Like he's definitely good. He does like a lot more niche shit. But he also
back in the day.
But he goes back to it periodically where he'll buy like the cheapest PSA and he'll stress test it, or like he does talk about a lot of gear and like not even just optics and shit to put on your AR, but like when you get further down on the line, like plate carriers, plates, helmets, ears. You know what I mean?
Like, I think Garantham is, whether you like him or not, with all the recent controversy, he probably is the best. Yeah. Just goes over everything, technique, what you need,
he even has like these full breakdown videos of like drone evasion, specifically urban combat, like how to prepare yourself for that, urban evasion, like how to get out of a big city,
fighting like a foreign,
like if you're in a wooded area, like invasion. How to literally make yourself a tent, how to get yourself a small like smokeless fire.
That's more of his recent stuff. If you're just looking at,
it's like so much shit that you need to know.
If you're just looking at like AR stuff, just go back to like his older videos. He has like a lot of entry level stuff.
For sure.
Hickok 45, I still recommend him to people. He's great. He'll give you the rundown on some of the histories of gun brands and stuff like that as he shoots them. And puts you to shame because he just doesn't fucking miss.
I'm trying to think. It's gotten so niche, but honestly, this guy, Tactical Toolbox.
Why does that sound familiar?
He's great. Like, he's kind of a newer guy to, like, the whole gun tuber scene. But, dude, he's awesome. Like, he covers a lot of, like... He does a lot of the, like, not, like, cheap bullshit, but, like, more budget-friendly stuff.
He's not
like,
going out there
always
with
doing
all the
budget builds, but, like, it's never, like, dog shit off of Amazon. Like, he'll show you all the links where you can get, like, the cheapest, but, like, solid shit. Like, he'll review EOTechs and even down. Like, he's a big Hollow Sun guy. He believes it's a lot of value that you're getting out of it, durability for, like, what you're paying. You know what I mean? Like, different types of LPVOs that you're going to get the best.
He's not trying to oversell you on shit.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a, like, what's the best bang for your buck? I'm going to test this shit and see if it holds up well. You know what I mean? Like budget builds for your rifles, like different things that you can do to get by.
Grand Thumb's gotten better about that. He used to be heavy on the, you need to buy, this. And I was like,
yeah. Well, back when he was getting all that shit for free from the government to put on his rifle.
Well, that probably was too.
Now it's like, fuck, I got to buy this shit. But yeah, a Tactical Toolbox is great, man. Fuck. Can't remember his name, dude. Big bearded guy. He's pretty cool. Prepper shooter or prepper something like that. Don't remember. I'll Tactical Prepper maybe.
I think there's VSO. They're not bad.
Yeah, VSO's a good gun channel.
Yeah. Demolition Rants and shit like that is really more.
He's good too. I mean, he's more entertainment.
That's
but
what
like,
I'm saying.
He will actually stress test shit and throw over it. You know what sucks, man? If you're looking to do anything AK related, Rob Ski is like the guy.
AK Operators Union.
AK Operators Union.
The only channel you need to go to. I think that is really the.
It's the only one.
Brandon Herrera did some stuff.
He's more entertainment. Yeah.
Robski, like, he fucking stress tests, and even then, he did one with the Palmetto State.
He does a lot of every Palmetto State. Yeah. Everything they come out with,
he tests
Palmetto State, they test it. And he does his pond test, which I thought was great, where
just
he literally
leaves in the water for a day.
He ties like a string to it, fucking throws it in like a dirty-ass pond and leaves it there. He did one, he left it there for a week, and then he did one during the winter where the pond froze, so he left it in the frozen pond for like a month.
Yanked it out.
And then yanked it out, and immediately, like as soon as he yanks it out, just starts fucking dumping until failure.
He dumps dirt into the chamber while it's shooting. He calls it the sand tornado test.
But he's
good shit.
Like a lot of the attachments and like the mentality of like training kind of exercises you can do, like even just at a range. Like he's pretty good about that stuff. And then again, he's a big primary arms guy.
He loves
He's always
arms.
pushing primary arms. He sells primary arms products on his website.
Yep.
So like as far as attachments go, a lot of that's going to be the same, at least for like the optics and stuff like that. It's the same shit. I mean, now that I'm on the spot, man, it's like there is so fucking many.
For real, last thing. Bulk. Where do you buy bulk ammo? Where would you tell people to get bulk ammo?
Back in the day, I would have said Lucky Gunner was great.
There's
I feel like they've been a little bit more pricey lately.
There's a website that I always use. It's literally just gun.deals, right?
Gun deals. Yep.
You can go on there. It's an algorithm-based website. Pulls the best sales available from all websites. Palmetto State, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It could be even a third-party website like Kentucky Gun Co. Has everything. You can go to ammo. You can go to optics. You can go to rifles. Whatever you want, it's on there.
Yep.
But that's where I'd recommend people to go for ammo.
Ammo.com does the same thing. I don't think I've ever used them, but they do same thing where they
pulls
pull
all the prices
from different websites and gets
that's
you the
nice.
best price.
I used to tell people go to bulkammo.com, but they've been hit or miss recently.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying about Lucky Gunner. They used to be tight. That's where I used to get all like the niche kind of like
754.
Yeah, and just like the old like military, like it was
Or
the only
760 by
site that I
54.
found that would sell the M30 ball for
true.
the military classics, or whatever. So whatever. And honestly, man, you can't go wrong. Like there's Florida Gun Trader, which is like a private site, or it's not a private site, but it's like it's private sellers. So it kind of is almost like a Craigslist vibe, but for guns specifically. It's perfectly legal in Florida. You're not going to get in any trouble. Again, even if some dude did some shady shit, just make sure you do a private bill of sale with your name and theirs kind of thing. But I found great deals on there too for like bulk ammo.
Dude,
somebody just like kind of getting rid of some shit or
check
whatever.
your local pawn shop, dude.
Yeah, sometimes they do okay where somebody sold them like a whole box of ammo and they don't want to go through it, so they'll just get rid of it. You know what I mean? Ammo's kind of, I'm out of the game right now, so I wouldn't even know.
It's
but
hard, dude. It's so
Lucky Gunner,
expensive.
ammo.com, gun deals. It's a great place to start. Great place to get gun parts too is Bud's. That used to be like a go-to spot for me was Bud's Gun Shop.
Really? For parts? Yeah. I only use Brownells.
Just builds or something like that. But now it's like Optics Planet or Palmetto State Armory. I literally look at them for their optics. They have great deals. Palmetto State Armory all the time on like shit that's not Palmetto State. Like
Palmetto State sells
like a
ammo. They sell parts, like whatever you need from them. They're getting ready to start selling suppressors. So
which is awesome.
It's a fantastic company.
It really is. PalmettoState.com. What did you say? Gun deals.
Yep. And honestly, I'd say Brownells. If you
Brownells
really need
is
to
great.
get some niche, they have
Optics Planet.
Optics Planet too. They both have a lot of niche,
great deals,
very niche shit.
Yeah,
but
we covered everything, dude. And this was a great one. This was a long one.
It was very long.
But this has been a long time coming. We've talked about doing this for like since we started.
In our hearts, we would love to be gun tubers, but it's a lot of money.
We're just showmen.
We're just showmen.
But as we progress, man, there's definitely like vlogs that we can load of like range days and shit, like, or just like clips of range days and stuff for sure, man. But yeah, this was good. Do you have anything else really?
Buy a fucking AR.
Buy an AR.
Even if you
quit fucking around.
Even if you don't fucking plan on using it every weekend, dude, you need one of these. If you are a mentally capable person that is not, emotionally distraught, or just fucking not a psychopath, you need one of these.
Bit emotionally distraught.
You absolutely need one of these.
Yeah, you do. Quit joking yourself around. It's only a matter of time, and then by that time, it's too late. Like seriously, it just is. And again, too, we'll go more into it, but get the gun, get yourself immersed into the culture. Start looking into a suppressor. You're gonna need it. You are. Start looking into plate carriers. What kind of plates you need in that. Again, try to be as budget friendly as you can. Take your time. Once you buy it once, you're done. You're good. Get the good armor plates. Get the good actually like, what do they call it? Ultra molecular, like the really good repairability ones that don't shatter and don't fucking chip and
I got the AR1500
steel plates, not ceramic. Yeah, steel plates.
I got steel plates with ceramic coating.
That's fine. That's more or less just whatever, probably to save some weight or something.
It's actually heavier, but it's supposed to help disperse the blow, but it only lasts. The guy told me, he's like, you probably shoot this twice and that ceramic
it cracks
off.
off.
He's like, it's gonna be fucked.
Yeah, that's a whole we could go down a whole rabbit hole with all the other side of things.
We could go down the rabbit. We could do a 3-hour podcast on muzzle devices. Like this shit is so
It really does go
fucking
long
crazy.
and far, but it doesn't have to be that complicated
No,
to
it
start. Just get the rifle, start shooting. Get the rifle, get some ammo, start shooting. Figure out what you want from there. It will become apparent to you immediately. I want a handguard. I want to try this. I need a flashlight in case something happens at night. I need a sling to help me carry it. I need an optic because I want to do this or that, whatever the fuck. Again, plates, plate carriers, food storage. That's another thing nobody talks about. Get at least like a crate or two of like the 25-year shelf life food stuff. You buy it once, it's good for 25 years. You literally can forget about it and shove it in your garage. And you never know. I mean, Florida, it's like even hurricane shit. You know what I mean? It's
Might
like
need
not
it.
a bad idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To stockpile a little bit of water and like, freeze dry food or whatever shelf stable food. Ammo. Buy as much every fucking time there's a deal on ammo. Here's the way I want you to look at it because I need to start doing this too. So I'm just kind of preaching to the choir. I'm a part of this. Every time there's a deal on ammo, I want you to look at it like it's a deal on stocks or something. Like you're making an investment. I'm telling you, if shit ever actually does get to a point to where it's really bad out there, if you have too much fucking ammo to move, you can literally use it like money. I mean, think about how precious ammo would become in a situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And if you have a fucking surplus of it to where you can get rid of something, you could actually get yourself ahead.
I will tell you this. I personally keep like roughly 500 to 1,000 rounds. That is just at all times.
Yeah,
you gotta have.
That's the minimum.
Yeah, you gotta have something, dude.
Yeah.
You gotta have something to be able to hold yourself over.
Get the cheap steel cased FMJ. Is it gonna be top notch quality? No, but will it put somebody down? Yeah. Yes. You know what I mean? And I've run steel case. I've run high quality brass. I don't really have a difference. I don't have like a problem with either. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, steel cases can be dirtier if it's not Beridium primed. It can be more corrosive. Look out for that. But, clean your rifle. That's another thing. Cleaning kits. My God, we'll be here for 5 hours. This is a 5-hour podcast. Clean kits. Get some lube. Get a bore snake. Get some lube. Get a bore snake. That's it. The rest can be wiped off with a rag. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be complicated. Get a bore snake. Go to Walmart. Go on Amazon. Get a bore snake.
You can just buy whole kits.
Yeah. I mean, seriously. Like, you can get whole kits and all this stuff. Literally just need lube and a fucking rag and fucking the bore snake. Yeah. I mean, really, it is not more complicated than that. You just need to get the gunk off of it, take the shit apart, get the gunk off of it, and the only thing that's niche is the barrel, and the bore snake is fantastic. It cleans that barrel better than any fucking breech with the swab that I've ever used. Like, you have to scrub that shit. You run that bore snake through there twice, it's as fucking clean as the day you bought it. Like, it's insane. If you use bore snakes, highly recommend.
I have the traditional brushes, but I need to switch to a bore snake.
I'm telling you, just try one once. I mean, I fucking actually have it somewhere. I'll let you, if you want to, check it out. But yeah, it's fantastic. And they make bore snakes for everything. Your pistols, fucking shotgun. But yeah, for the rifle, lube, and even at that, what lube? Who gives a fuck? You use the red machine grease. It's better than nothing. I mean,
actually that's what a lot of guys recommend. Honestly,
it doesn't freeze up and shit. I mean, you don't need like the fancy fucking
$20 a bottle.
Yeah,
don't do that.
I don't necessarily recommend something like WD-40 or anything like that because that's different. That's water displacement. That's like to keep shit from like rusting. But like any kind of gun lube is fine. Doesn't matter. Just needs to be high heat, like gun lube.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of like just so we cover all of our bases. Yeah, that's it.
I'd get extra batteries for your optics too.
Yeah,
That's really the only thing
if your optics take batteries.
Literally it. I really don't think there's anything else.
A lot of guys too, again, I hate to add more shit to this, but a lot of guys will carry like a very, very small like med kit. That like kind of how I've got this like rubber band here. They'll carry like a small med kit, that's just got like a tourniquet on it and like maybe like some quick clot in there or something, whatever, just to like stop a heavy bleed in like a pinch. It's not a terrible idea unless you plan on always carrying like a rig or a backpack that you can put it in your rig or your backpack. A lot of guys strap it to the rifle. I think that's a little extra. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to be in a situation where you always either have a backpack or a rig, that's another thing. Having a go bag that, like Grant said, has at least, I mean, because 1,000 rounds is going to be pretty heavy in a backpack, so at least 500 rounds. And again, buy a shit ton of mags. Buy 10 fucking mags. You know what I mean? Fill all of those mags up. Make sure those mags are in a backpack or in a tack rig, ready to go. Why not? You can leave them compressed for a fucking year. It won't do anything to the springs. Where else are we at? Oh, like you said, batteries. Most, if not all, especially like the MOE or like my Strike, they're gonna have like a compartment inside the handle. Put your extra batteries in there in a plastic bag.
Buddy, I can't think. I
good.
think we literally rounded especially for the ARs, we rounded all the bases.
Yeah.
Get one of these, man, at some point.
Get a suppressor.
Because I'm telling you, it's
the
not movie.
Least you need to do.
It's not movie quiet, but it's a big fucking difference. It really is. I'm flagging myself with a suppressor. Is that bad?
I don't know. I'm sure somebody on there will figure it out. But hey.
Oh.
But this has been, on that note, this has been Brackish Bandits. I know this was a long one, but we covered all the bases.
It's a lot.
I think it's really good. Any questions, concerns, want to tell me and Grant how stupid we are, how many times we flagged ourselves, put it in the comments. Please trash us. All the trash comments you guys would like.
Olsen, it's scuffed.
Good.
Oh, it's already gone.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It actually just wiped right off like that.
Right
That's wild, dude. Wow. Hux works, people. Yeah. I don't know. My typical sign out. Christ is Lord.
Christ is King, baby.